Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going, everyone?
Hi.
So nice to see everyone again. Really nice to have Zed back and David back, who was sick last week.
I was gone last week. I'm here now. I'm still sick, but not as sick as I was last week. So I'll be sick forever. It doesn't.
You're always
daycare.
sick.
It's daycare now. It doesn't. It has its own virus.
What did you have?
They
What
have
was
their
it?
own things. I don't know. I was so well. So I've been sick for like a month, but I was like lightheaded last week. That's why I didn't come on. But I've been coughing and like coughing up, blowing my nose, like all that shit forever. Since like I don't know,
never ends.
January. It does.
Is it
it's
like
not gonna
it's not
end.
allergies, is it? Or
No, it's not allergies. No. This is
Okay.
this is daycare sickness, and it just lingers. It just lingers on. I guess it's like it's just a cold now, but it's not as bad as it was. But it just lingers. It's never going away. It's always there.
That sucks.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Good.
Zed, where do I
to
know
live
you
with.
from? I think I've seen you before.
Yeah.
Where would I have seen you before, and where can people find you?
You may have seen me on your local public radio broadcast. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm Zed. I host a YouTube show called Freestyle the News every Sunday. And I also do another show on my YouTube channel called Zed Talks, where I'll break down a big piece of news and then kind of go into some of the ins and outs. We just did a thing about Nickelodeon's Quiet on Set documentary, which is really fun and is now picking up traction, which is great. I used to be on the Philip DeFranco show and do Freestyle the News there every single week. You may also know me from if you ever played Mortal Kombat, at the end of the game, you're like, oh my God, this is a really cool rap. That's me. And if you like fighting games and have heard of Evo, I am the music director of Evo. I do all the music for each one of the games that comes out. I put together that whole project. I'm also really hot, and I like long walks on the beach, and I'm
Pics
a big
in bio.
fan of, fans in bio. See in bio.
Guests
more
aren't allowed
bio.
to do this anymore. We made a pact. We said guests can keep trying to pick up on this shit.
Hey man, if you want to see a guy sit on a cake, don't ask me. But I'm sure that's great. I'm sure that's a fun thing that you can enjoy.
So wait,
Well-
you're the guy who goes Mortal Kombat.
You made this joke last time, Matt.
I think you
I'm
did.
so upset
I'm like,
that
this
you
joke
still
sounds
don't know who I
familiar to
am.
me.
This is my third time being here. Both times I'm like, Binder, I am a big fan of your work, of your journalistic integrity, and you're like, hey, are you the guy who does Mortal Kombat? I'm like, no, Binder. I am not
doing this
him.
Last time, I can guarantee you, I'll probably do it every time you come.
I do the rap at the end. There's a rap song at the end of Mortal Kombat, and I'm the guy rapping the verse.
It's
in
so
Mortal Kombat.
fucking good.
Oh, thank
We
you.
could just talk about video games for the next 2 hours. That'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Yeah,
We
we would
could- yeah.
lose
Also,
half
can we
the
talk about
viewers,
X-Men? I want to talk about X-Men too.
Oh
X-Men's
my
really good.
God, X-Men.
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
it's really good. No spoilers. I
It's
haven't
really
watched it
good.
yet.
Yeah.
Can I-
No
I hear it's
spoilers. but-
Can I
Thanks.
say
See
something?
that?
I can say so. Well, you guys bitch about, and we all bitch about the fucking woke mafia bullshit culture war thing, right?
Mhm.
But like,
yeah.
I like after watching that, I just want everybody who said anything about it being too woke to just shut the fuck up and pack their shit up and leave, dude. Like,
are these
just
actually
pack
real
your
people?
shit up.
Or are they just like Twitter randos that are like
Bro,
paid
but
to be
it's so,
stupid?
It's so ridiculous, though. It's like so insanely. It's like looking. I can't even think of a metaphor because it's so fucking stupid. It was so good. It was so.
It was really good.
It clears all of the Fox X-Men movies within 2 episodes. That's my feeling.
Zed, the very people you're talking about, they were in the episode. They're the ones who say like, down with mutants, no mutants go home. That's all the chuds basically. They got representation in the episode. It was great.
What I found hilarious too was like if you watch the old X-Men movies, the third like the first 2 movies again, Bryan Singer is a horrific monster and a lazy piece of shit.
We can separate the art from the artist.
I mean, depending on the art, but like X-Men 1 and 2 are like amazing films, and they're great metaphors for bigotry and what it feels like and all that.
Past too.
And Days of Future Past as well. But like the main issues I've had with those films, like number one, in the third movie where they just give it to Brett Ratner, like the whole concept of that movie is like, hey, if you don't want to be a mutant, you don't have to be a mutant. I'm like, these are movies about being gay. Like, that's like, you've completely missed the fucking point. And then number 2, like Magneto in all of those movies, like is always shown to be like, hey, maybe we should trust Magneto. And then he's just like a terrible, like he does everything wrong, which is like the antithesis of what Magneto is in the comics. Like Magneto sometimes can be a good, like a decent dude, but in every time, like in Days of Future Past, they're like, hey, I need to come along with you. You're gonna need both of us. And then Magneto almost fucks the whole thing up. Yeah, I'm not a fan of X-Men movies. If you can't,
I forget X-Men 3.
I never liked even the first.
They got
even
Angel in it. It's
X-Men
terrible.
movie.
It's
they did the I'm the Juggernaut meme like 5 years too late.
Bender, your mic is a little low, by the way.
Oh, it is? All right, let me.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
It is, yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's better.
You were saying you didn't like the first X-Men movie?
Yeah, I didn't like the X-Men movies from the very first one because something about the aesthetic didn't feel like an X-Men movie. Like it was very.
When you get past the aesthetic, though, the core is pretty good there. Good casting.
It was just very 2000s, right? Like that's.
Yeah,
especially after the Jim Lee run, where there's like iconic designs, Wolverine in the yellow, and like the cool thing about this, if you haven't seen it yet, the cool thing about this one is, and if you've ever been a fan of X-Men, and if you're not, I'm so sorry for being a nerd right now. But like Cyclops is cool. Like Cyclops is the guy.
They redeemed his character completely, by the way.
Like he's
it's unbelievable.
He's kicking ass. Like so many times you just think Cyclops is this guy. Oh, I launch a beam and I'm done. But he's fighting. Like the fight scenes are awesome. Storm is incredible. Like Magneto does this amazing stuff. Like there was points where I was like, oh my god, I'm feeling this on another level, especially living in 2024. There's nothing like overtly like they're trying to change about the series for new audiences. It's very much so same tone, just elevated. And it's amazing. It's awesome. I highly recommend you check it out. You will have a blast.
I'm gonna watch it for sure.
Yeah. It's really entertaining. And Zed's totally right, by the way. Like, if you think about the whole premise, the fact that they were trying to say that like X-Men went woke, I was like, you couldn't pick a worse like series to or like basically like property to go after than X-Men. Honestly, of all things, like it's always been this dynamic between there's humans, there's mutants. The humans want to control or destroy the mutants, and then there's these two basically warring factions. You got Charles Xavier who thinks humans and mutants can live peacefully and coexist. And then Magneto who says we need violent revolution. We need to get rid of all the humans so that we can be the next evolution of humankind, kind of thing. And like that whole setup. Come on, like Zed was saying, doesn't matter if it's LGBTQ plus. Which, by the way, they actually do that in more nuance than you might even think, because there's some mutants who can hide in plain sight. You'd never know they were mutants. They can actually just like hide like regular people, right? Kind of like people who are bi or stuff like that. If they don't want to like have people go after them. And then there's people like Beast who has to be a mutant 24/7. So there's no way for him to just turn off his powers and blend in with modern society. Yeah, it's
very queer coded. And that TikTok that you shared, Lance, which hopefully maybe we could watch that, was funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah, this guy explaining how it's not like surprising that they made it woke, for lack of a better word. I'll try to pull that up.
Well, that was because the internet melted down at the crop top. It was the crop top.
Well,
like
yeah,
everyone's like,
that
crop top. It's gay. It's woke. It's gay.
Oh my
That's what pissed me off because
fucking
they're
God.
all like, they got mad at Storm's mohawk, which by the way is like a whole fucking thing from the 80s. Like there's a whole moment where she has a mohawk and she goes through this whole arc in like, I'm not going to spoil it, right? But it's one of the most iconic arcs for that character. And they just showed her with a mohawk and they're like, they made Storm a man. I'm like, the fuck? And then also something to spin off of Lance's thing. So if you look back at the X-Men comic book series from the 1960s, like when it's conceived, it is not like about diversity originally. It's just a cool comic book. But what makes it go above and beyond and becomes this national phenomenon is when people realize, hey, actually this is a perfect representation of civil rights. Even some of the stories, like originally Professor X and Magneto are said to be Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That's untrue. They're actually Chris Claremont actually modeled them after, and this is pretty controversial, two Israeli activists, right, who were fighting on either sides of Zionism or not. I'm not sure exactly, but they morphed into Malcolm X and Magneto. And the point of the matter is, regardless of what you say, after 40 fucking plus years of something being some way, it is that way. You can't act like Sonic is just about platforming. No, it's about Sonic Adventure and butt rock and Shadow now. Okay, we have lived 20 years. That's where we are now. And if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But honestly, like this is the entirety of why this comic is popular, right? Like Parks and Recs sucked the first season. People like Parks and Rec from season 2.
That's right.
Onwards,
I remember. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like no one wants to go back to like, man, let's make Leslie like Michael Scott again. No one wants to do that. Right.
Yeah.
If you really gave a shit about X-Men, you wouldn't be bitching about Gambit wearing something every 80s macho fucking rocker wore and would call you a pussy for using Twitter on, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm missing something here.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, so he kind of breaks it down as he rants.
All of social media is full of men in their mid-40s with bad beards complaining that X-Men 97 made Gambit kind of gay because he wore a crop top in one episode. Do I need to remind you guys who the fuck Gambit was in 1996? This is an actual Gambit action figure. Look at this. He is dressed as bisexual lighting. He has flare on his fucking leggings. This is a man wearing fingerless gloves. You think fingerless gloves are straight? You need to go to therapy right now, okay? This man is a Cajun thief who lives in a swamp, who has a girlfriend he can't touch because if he does, he'll die, okay? That is a bisexual man at best. Oh, mon ami, I will definitely slay that pussy, but if I touch you, I will lose all my powers. His powers are turning things hot pink and then they explode. He was designed to make you want to kiss a man, okay? He's always been gay. It's not the shirt.
But also, like that's the other thing. Like I don't understand like their need. Like also, that's like a huge thing is Gambit and Rogue and that whole like. How do you think? I'm just baffled.
But manly dudes in like from like the mid 80s to the mid 90s, they wore like short shorts, tight like jean cutoff shorts. They wore crop top shirts because you get to show off your six pack and your muscles.
Also,
I mean,
that's how
like Jim Bro is dressed then.
Why is Ian Miles Chong, the guy with lips that look like two fucking Goodyear blimps, telling everybody else about masculinity? Shut the fuck up, dog. Jesus.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes we're like shadow boxing. Does he really have a following of actual people? I have a hard time imagining people that's fucking stupid to like fall down these holes and actually be really passionate about any of this shit.
Everyone's complaining about this. Like the Quartering has videos, Geeks and Gamers have videos, Lauren Chen.
Who's watching this shit?
Like,
what fucking children are watching the channel?
I think it's died down since the episodes because the episodes are widely like praised, right? Like within good. Like because and it's one of those things like if you want to be able to like the whole thing with the culture war is like if you. It's about people not being masculine or macho or not projecting strength. And like, I'm not going to spoil too much, but within the first episode, Magneto does some pretty boss ass shit while complaining about bigotry. So like, it's one of those things that just short circuits the whole argument, because it's Magneto doing some overtly strong man, like, I'm a terrifying thing that any macho hero in an action movie would do, but I'm doing it in a format that's complaining about racial bigotry and everything like that. And it projects so many things that they kind of treat as diametric opposites. It kills the argument. So if you search X-Men on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it is now, you just get a litany of people just praising that Magneto scene, talking about Storm, talking about all these major things.
Cyclops,
how excited they are. Cyclops, yeah. So like, it's one of those things where it was a quick cash. Any Disney property, Disney could release Republican Space Rangers, and they would be like, but really, Disney is making Republican Space Rangers woke, and they'll find
too many women.
Angle.
They did it with the Gina Carano movie on Daily Wire. They said that it was woke because she was too strong as a woman. Like, there's never going to be a way to appease these people. They are ridiculous.
I want to salute your bravery, Mike, on calling that a movie. That was a very brave thing for you to do, Mike.
I'm being very charitable.
In theaters, it made $1,600. You know,
that's
that's more than when I checked. It was $1,800. I think.
That's the international market. Yeah, because they released, I believe, in Russia and maybe the United Arab Emirates. Those were the three places.
Good for them.
Did y'all see the Cody Johnson thing? The Some More News thing on Lady Ballers.
It was great.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm really excited to watch it.
It was probably the most succinct breakdown of like. I don't think it's going to convince anybody, but it is like a direct, like,
it's good faith. You can say that.
Very good. I think it's brilliant.
It's cruel.
But no, it's direct. Like it
is. They start up with all the technical stuff, like from like a filmmaking standpoint. Like, here's why, just from a technical standpoint, this is ass. Like, it's just a terrible movie, and then they get into why it's just like bad on every level. Like, but they basically do the thing they complain about.
But I think the other point that's really good about it too is like, if you look at, and again, I'm sorry I'm talking so much, guys, like I always do when I fucking come on here.
No, feel free.
But like, but I think one of the things that I love that he brought up was like, all of the movies that The Wire is making are out of spite, and so that obviously that taints the product. It gives it an audience, but it taints the product so incontrovertibly that like it just makes it shit. It makes it shit. And you can see like other, and he even brings up like there are other conservative movies with a conservative bend that are inherently just better, right? Like you can say you can make an argument about The Dark Knight Rises having a conservative bend. It is just a better movie, right? Dark Knight Returns, even though it's anti-Reagan, has a conservative bend. It's a solidly made piece of fiction, right? Lady Ballers doesn't have has a lack of artistic merit and a lack of follow through and a lack of understanding about how stories work. So they ultimately undermine their own point that they're trying to make by making it so overtly political and out of spite. Right?
Yeah, like they do the thing they always complain about. They're always saying that, like, oh, the libs, they're always like, pushing politics on us. There's politics and anything. Clearly, if you didn't know that, like, they're now saying all these video games, Metal Gear Solid, Bioshock Infinite, all these titles, like, they weren't political back in the day. I guess it was so subtle you didn't notice. But like when it comes to the Daily Wire, they just hit you over the head with the messages every like fucking 2 seconds in that movie.
To be fair, the audience is pretty fucking stupid.
A Call of Duty game is more subtle.
The audience will only understand the message if they're smashed in the head with it. That's the problem.
A Call of Duty game is more subtle than a fucking Daily Wire movie. Like that's a problem, dude. And on top of that, like if any of us watched On the Waterfront, you wouldn't know it's a fucking like cosign for McCarthyism because it's such a good film. And the whole point of film is to be like, oh, this is an analogous thing. I kind of related to my life. I'm going to put it here. Right. And it's just an issue. It's like when we were talking about Helldivers, people thinking that isn't a metaphor for fascism.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't understand how anyone can think they're being serious. I mean,
are you on the side of the bugs?
I don't know. Talk to the developers. They're pretty clear about it. They're not like, yeah, we're fascists. Like, no, they're very clearly not So
there's a point where they added something to the game, and people were like, "Hey, they've added these flying things you have to kill in the game," and the developers are like, "This is liberal propaganda. There are no flying creatures in this game. Do not believe your eyes." Meanwhile, you drop in, they're like in every single level. Like, this is a lie told to you.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, on the subject of like woke stuff, so there's this effort by some reactionaries online to try to get like a Gamergate 2.0, and the biggest one that I've seen lately that I was not arguing with but like responded to on Twitter is Boogie. So he posted this with like no additional context, but I'll fill you in. Hot take: video games are supposed to be fun, not lectures about why being a white man is bad. And then he links to his like Gamergate 2 is here. And it's just so crazy because like as a white dude, I don't ever feel like there was a time where a game beat me over the head with some message about how it was bad to be white. Like I've been playing games since I was like 4.
Name one title. Like every single time I've responded with name one title, just one. Give me one. I just want one example. If you this is such a big
guy
problem,
responded to you, Lance. I think it was somebody guy who responded to you, Lance, who was like BioShock Infinite. And I was like, I was like the whole point of that game, like midway through that game, they say this is not what they spell it out in like the most there's a whole section in BioShock 2 where you fight the resistance of this racist society, right? And the resistance, you're like, okay, these guys are good, and then you're like, oh, these guys are kind of insane. Like they're doing wild shit to the point where they're gonna like kill kids and also do shitty things, right? We can talk about that later, but there's a point where you literally see somebody who is not white about to kill a child. You have to kill her, right? It is the most blatant, like, hey, we're not saying all white people, okay? We're not saying that.
Even if the entire theme was centered around people who want to be plantation owners are bad, that's not the same as all white people are bad. Because like it's the same thing when people were pointing out Wolfenstein. And I was like, Wolfenstein, the thing is Nazis are bad. Nazis are bad, right?
What does that say about you? What does that say about them that they're defending it and that they're like this means white men? I'm like, we didn't say that. You said that. You said
if you feel attacked in a game where you have to kill Nazis.
The two. They're shooting some identity to that.
It says something if that offends you and you think that they're talking about you when they're criticizing Nazis. Like I feel like that's a little bit of a self-tell. But like Boogie is trying to grift now off of this whole alt-right Gamergate 2 thing because there's this consulting firm called Sweet Baby Inc. It's like 16 employees, and they do a lot of work with like other companies to supplement their writing, side stories, stuff like that. Like it's a consulting firm, right? They've worked on the biggest, most successful games, God of War, Spider-Man 2. So it's a really like powerful company. Or successful company, I should say. Yeah. But conservatives are portraying them as like a powerful company in the sense that like they're taking things that were written and then they're swapping it out. Like make this more woke. Okay, this white guy, take him out, put a black character in. And they're trying to make it seem as if like this company is the reason why all of gaming went woke. When in actuality, like they're just supplemental. Like,
do they know what a consulting firm is? Like,
that's what I wanted to say.
It's contract to do specific work that they're asked to do.
Yeah, but the situation gets. Do you know how it started, Mike? Did you look into it at all?
It kind of has been bubbling up for a while. So there was a Steam curated page called something like Sweet Baby Ink Detector.
It was Sweet Baby Ink Detector, and then they and one of the people from Sweet Baby Inc. who was pretty upset with them posted it on X, and it had the Streisand effect. Where like, hey, you should report this group.
Exactly.
A bunch of people joined the group, and it created backlash. Now, I will say this though, like 100%, like the allegation that Sweet Baby Inc. is like somehow wokeifying games is fucking ridiculous. Like that's not how game development works. Like them saying like, did you make this character black? If you've ever worked in a professional environment and you say, hey, we have to change the race of a character, that's like 10,000 meetings, right? That's so many meetings. Like you go into Inception at that point, right? But like the person who was at the center of those was very aggressive, had some pretty like fucked up tweets in the past, and like literally after like the thing was starting to die down, after Toriyama died, they posted like a pretty anti-Toriyama tweet, like right after and then it just became an insane kind of thing, and now
to your point, though, even if the head of Sweet Baby Inc. Was literally saying something like, "We need to kill all white people," that's no direct.
That's not the
evidence.
head. It's just it's one of the employees. It's one of the.
Well, either way, it's a team of 16 people. This is a consulting firm. Like anyone who's saying this is part of a grand conspiracy doesn't understand that every single major corporation who wants to have public-facing branding consults consultant firms all the time. That's like this is not a bombshell revelation.
Not at all.
Sweet Baby Inc. is the video game. Sweet Baby Inc. is the video game world economic forum. Apparently, you will eat the bugs. You will change the race of the characters in the video game.
Well, they were specifically making allegations like, so one of the main characters in Alan Wake 2 Saga is a black woman, and they're like, okay, Sweet Baby Inc., who worked on this game, they race swapped Saga. It was supposed to be a white woman, and basically they came out like, no, she was always a black woman.
Exactly.
And so. Like, I think that you're right, Zed, that it certainly was Streisand affected. And I think that in trying to get that, like, little curation page removed, it ended up having, like, the opposite effect. Part of the problem was that those people were, like, using it to harass them. But I think that they ended up giving too much attention to it. And then it kind of emboldened these people. But now they're trying to turn this into a broader thing, and it's like spiraling, and it's being called Gamergate 2 by dipshits like Boogie and probably the Quartering who want to make it into this thing. Yeah, the pronouns guy, because Gamergate 2, that's like money on YouTube, right? Like if you go back to the anti-SJW era, you could shit out some dumbass video about how woke this dumbass college student is and how stupid they are with their pink hair and get like hundreds of thousands of views. So like it's a cash cow. That's why they're trying to like instigate a Gamergate 2. But in actuality, like it's one fucking consulting firm and they don't have all this power. But like any type of diversity is being like credited to Sweet Baby Inc. So there's a scene in Spider-Man 2 or a side mission in Spider-Man 2 where it's like, okay, you have to help this gay kid set up something so he can ask his boyfriend to homecoming. And it's like, woke, but like they tried to make it seem as if this was like shoehorned in when all of the side missions are very personal. Like there's one where you're helping this lady find her dad who has dementia, and he shares his story about how he met his wife. There's another one where you play as Miles Morales' girlfriend, and she's deaf, so like they kind of give you the perspective of you can't hear, and you're helping this girl with her art who doesn't feel like it's a very personal thing. So it's not like that felt shoehorned in, but they're trying to make it seem as if like this is DEI but for video games. Yeah,
I had no idea video games got so woke now. They got deaf characters in there now. Unbelievable! Get out of here.
Rainbow flags too.
Rainbow flags. I just want to clarify.
It's a pretty cool sequence,
Lance. I wasn't defending.
Oh, I didn't think you
harassment. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like this culture war thing, all of these guys, like all these guys are marketing guys, right? Like they all built their lives off of marketing, off of grievance and outrage, right? Yeah. And so, especially when you are in a consulting firm where you are trying to make sure the outward appearance of a game, like the intentions of a game and the content within a game, is reflective in a way that makes it seem understanding of the context of what things are, right? You have to be really careful
they
about
were
the
asked
context.
If this was culturally sensitive. That's apparently what they were consulted for.
Yeah. So I like 100%. I completely understand what the thing is, but like especially with it's like if you are near a hornet's nest, right? I'm not saying don't like remove the hornet's nest. I'm saying understand how to remove. I think posting it on X, a platform owned by a guy who like retweets anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and is now co-signing people to go after your company in a way that is insane and completely incorrect, right, is probably not the wave to do. And I understand 100% you're getting harassed and everything like that. As somebody who works in the game industry, I know quite a few people who have been harassed for random shit. Like I know a bunch of Project L developers who have been harassed for being too woke. All that shit is insane and annoying, right? But I think especially with dealing with these really dangerous people, because they are dangerous. People like Boogie, people like Stuttering Craig, people like fucking low tier, like all of these guys will take any mountain and any molehill and make it into a mountain because it's easy for their brand to do. You know, and so
they've also changed it too. They did the whole goalpost where now they're saying that I just said I want games to be fun, or we're just saying we want
that's right.
Fun.
Yeah,
who's on the other side of that issue though? Who's like, oh,
I want games not to be
shitty.
I want to. That's also, why I play Dragon's Dogma and Elden Ring, so I get my ass kicked.
Yeah. I think it's heels versus babyface times 10. You know?
Yeah.
That guy, yeah, who was like complaining about the Starfield pronouns when they came out.
What they don't realize is that, of
that
course, he's still around. Yeah. But like one thing that these people don't realize is that like these companies, like I think that being woke, for lack of a better word, is an inevitability because gaming now is such a huge industry. It's no longer just like nerds in their basements. Like it's there's a bunch of different people. So as that market expands, they're going to want to capture a wider audience. There's going to be more characters that aren't just white dudes, right? Like Drake from Uncharted, like it's not just going to be white people forever. Yep. Of course, it's going to expand because it's getting bigger, and that's a good sign. Like you want the industry to grow in that way, but they can't grapple with it. And so it's like, oh my god, this is white replacement in video games now. It's digitally too. We're being erased. This is white genocide. It's just so frustrating. And then people have an incentive to kind of like play to these grievances because it does really well on YouTube. And that's what really irritated me about Boogie. And like to Lance's point, like everybody asked him, and I think he even kind of tacitly admitted that like, oh yeah, I don't have an example. But like, what's the example? And he couldn't even come up with one because there's no game that tells you it's bad to be white, right? Yep. Like it's just, and they say that, okay, look, I don't want to think about politics when I play video games. I don't want to be hit over the head with this. But what they mean by that is like, politics to them is like, oh, there's a gay person. How is that political though? Like to you, it's political because you don't like them.
There's someone who's not white. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody who's not in your bubble. It's like it's
exactly
anything, any sort of identity based thing is not like you want to be, which is so fucking hilarious to me because like half of the like were we in this era like for a while saying that we want our games to challenge us. Like that's the whole thing of like why From Software is a thing. Like you want games to challenge you. Like even those games intellectually challenge you and make you go through disturbing things and even things that you are not comfortable with necessarily. You're telling me something that is normal to everybody else that you are not comfortable with. All of a sudden you draw the line that, oh, there's a gay person here. Oh, there's an Arab person here. Oh, there's like that in Starfield, a pronoun has destroyed your suspension of disbelief, right? Like you're in a fucking starship playing Skyrim in space, but a fucking like that is the big, and it's just like what I still just can't keep getting back to like why this is like a strength fantasy for people like Boogie and all these people. It's like it's such a soft fucking it's so soft, dude. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like that's good. That's the line for you? Like, that's fucked up your time? Like, how are you at a party, bro? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's so weird and unhinged.
I don't think
and
he goes to many parties. I think that's a bad question to ask.
I think it's a way to try to stay relevant. Like, it's just like, it's the lowest common denominator. It's guaranteed going to get some kind of and it's really easy because there's no thinking involved, and your audience that'll be into it also does not think. So you could just spout off, not make any sense, and as long as your top line is comfortable with them or familiar to them that you're complaining about some shit because you're white, that's the in. That's all you need. The
that's absolutely right for the influencers, right? I think it's also telling that like. Anything someone said, any sort of identity they view as, but like white is an identity. The issue is that they view white as the default.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are white. So
also,
they
white is a color. It's not even like an identity. There's Irish, Celtic, Italian. Like there's so many.
Right. Well, it's also telling people. It's also very telling who identifies as white instead of a specific like ethnicity, like you said, like Irish or Italian or something like that.
Yeah.
Be proud of being Irish. That's very different than saying that you're proud because you're part of like the white race or something like that. Like
right. No, absolutely.
Hell yeah, be proud to be Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair to Boogie, we were
Italian,
talking
not so
somebody...
much. If you're Italian, keep it on the DL.
Don't say that he's Italian. Okay, that technically wasn't extremely racist.
Yeah, I'm married to an Italian, so I can also talk shit about Italians as well. I have a blank check for that.
I don't think that's how that works, Mike. But okay.
I'm dating a white person, so I can just be a shitty person to white people.
That's true.
It's a thing.
That's true.
It's a thing.
Forever.
My girlfriend. I met my girlfriend's parents. I'm like, where are you guys? Like, what's your like? I know you're white, but like, where's your, and they're like, oh, we're British. I'm like, I'm Indian. That's not a great thing. That's not, this is an awkward situation. And so every so often when she says something bad, I'm like, oh, just like what is it? Just like the Raj back in 1948 and shit like that. I give her shit.
She colonized your heart.
She colonized my heart. She colonized my heart. I had to get Gandhi in there. You were gonna say something about Boogie Mike?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the guy who like promoted a documentary about himself that made him look so bad. We watched like part of it on the show.
It was very
before.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, like
the clip that we watched.
I don't.
I can pull it up if you guys want to see it.
No,
wasn't the clip like it's $4,000 Diablo? I gotta get Diablo.
No,
I gotta get
not that one.
The one that stands out to me is like, so at this time his YouTube channel was in the tank, and so the director of the documentary was like, hey man, why don't we try to get a job? You know, that's like, if you need money, that's something that you might try to do. You're not entitled to just like get money from YouTube if nobody's watching your shit anymore. And so he met with like a job recruiter, and the things that he said to this woman, like jaw dropping, just so unserious. The things that he said about himself, and then to share this like the whole documentary. I cannot believe he would share this. I would run away from this.
Is it a bit though? Is it a bit?
No,
it sounds like you
it's
would
not a
upload it
bit.
if it was a bit.
It's not. He had a bit
His whole
about
life is a
himself
bit.
when like
true,
it's a
David.
bit. He started with a bit, and then this happened. Like this was like it's too harrowing to be a bit. Like if that's a bit, that's like a Joaquin Phoenix level of bit.
He's playing the long game with this bit.
He's playing really long. Like Boogie's gonna come out and just like, I've actually been a sophisticated aristocrat for 48 years.
Well, he already did that. He's like, I'm not really Francis. I'm Boogie. I'm the smart. That's just a character. It's like, man, I wish Boogie was a character too, because fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember him from Gamergate 1 because I was covering that 10 years ago.
I have it pulled up. We have to.
I remember him being a very bizarre individual and sad individual then. So
I was really a huge fan of him before because I felt bad for him. And at the time that I was watching in like 2018, like he was really trying to get his life together, and he talked about his mental health issues.
This was like 4 years after he was already being a piece of shit during Gamergate. Though.
You know what the sad
I didn't know about that.
You know what the sad thing about Gamergate though is too, right? Like if you take the initial premise, which is that there is corruption in the games industry that is hurting the gamers in a way that is widespread. That's not the
initial premise.
I take strong issue with this as
that's
the initial
premise.
That's what I think they sold it as later, that this was about ethics and games.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but I'm saying that sale of that grievance specifically is a universal grievance, which is true. Like people like EA laying off thousands of people.
Oh yeah,
right,
there was so many legitimate reasons to complain about the industry and the ethics in gaming journalism, which was corrupt.
Even their fake reasoning for Gamergate though didn't even correctly identify the villains in the gaming industry that are ruining your games. They didn't go after the major publishers. They didn't go after EA.
They got mad at journalists. And by the way,
they didn't go after the rich white executives.
They went after women too, right? Like specifically, they thought that there was this quid pro quo going on where women were making games and then sleeping with people to get good reviews of their games, which it turned out that's just
like Jade from Assassin's Creed.
That was a lie.
Yeah.
Nathan Grayson did not do that.
The entirety of Gamergate started was because a female developer by the name of Zoe Quinn created a text-based game.
I believe they're non-binary. I think it's they them.
That was, I mean, maybe they came out since, but at the time, that's what.
Yes, at the time, yes.
Right. Created a text-based game that was interesting. It was called like Depression Quest or something. It was unique. It wasn't like a gamer's game. It was just like a little indie game. And it got
everything is a gamer's game. You don't know. We will eat a text base. We played Undertale in this motherfucker. All right, we'll...
But it got this game got named on some best of lists or whatever. It got good reviews. No single profile for this game. It was just on a list of many other good games, and people got pissed about it because they think she didn't deserve it, and the game didn't deserve it. And then they found she knew one of the people who reviewed her, or that she dated someone who was tangentially involved or something.
Grayson, the gaming journalist.
Right. And so at first it wasn't even called Gamergate. It was called Five Guys Burger and Fries, because the claim they were making was that she slept with those 5 game reviewers to get the reviews or something.
And
that's
the game
that's
was
how
free.
it started.
It was free.
And then
it was not a promotion for it. It was a free
right.
game.
It was free
Still
too.
get
It
it
was
for
a free
free
game.
on Steam.
Right.
Yes.
And so the name changed because fucking Adam Baldwin of Firefly fame, the right-wing actor, he saw a video from like the guy was called like the internet somebody or something. I don't remember his name. Some weirdo about it. And so he just tweeted out the video and hashtagged it Gamergate. And they used that as the opportunity to rename it and pretend it was really about ethics in video game journalism, when the whole thing started going after Zoe Quinn. And then furthermore, they then focused all of their ire on going after Anita Sarkeesian, who already was hated.
Yeah, I never understood why she was hated. Because Gamergate took place when I stopped playing games. I was in grad school, so I was just not tuned in. So why did people hate Anita Sarkeesian? Because she was one person that I learned about through Boogie, because he said that he was at some VidCon or whatever, it was something, and he felt uncomfortable by her because she made a comment or gave him a dirty look. But now, in retrospect, it's like, wait a second. Boogie's probably the person who was being the asshole in this situation. So why do they hate Anita Sarkeesian so much?
Anita has an aggressive style.
Eli in the chat, the guy who made that video that Adam Baldwin saw was the internet aristocrat. I remember he was a big YouTuber. I don't know if he's still around.
I just realized that we could put comments in this thing that we're using. I wasn't seeing any comments.
You can submit links and things.
Oh, perfect, great, yeah. So if I'm gonna, perfect,
chat.
Okay, cool, yeah, okay. But I was saying, Anita has like a very I'm saying Anita like I don't know her, has a very aggressive like style of critiquing things. There are times where
she also didn't play video games before she started her critique.
Exactly. So there's critiques she has that are very valid about, hey, like, you know, the way that the damsel in distress meme has been used, absolutely valid. There are other places where her critiques are really out of context. She did a critique about Breath of the Wild, which was super out of context and felt very and like, again, like similar to the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, I think like when you're fighting a media war with people who are very savvy at finding any opening to destroy your argument, and again, these are people who are nefarious and use every tactic in the book to destroy your credibility, that's not great, because that's spread to other activists and other people who are going through similar things. There are also people who I have a very complicated like feelings about Anita Sarkeesian. I think all the harassment she went through was absolutely unwarranted, absolutely fucked up. I think a lot of the accusations that Gamergate made about her are insane and ridiculous, and those people need to get professional help. But there were other feminists who had frustrating conversations with Anita and her versions and everything like that. I can't speak to it because I am a guy, and it's not good for me to be like, hey, this is what feminism is. But
the point is that she was making like academic critique of video games from a feminist perspective. I mean, this is something that happens to every single art form.
Yep.
Academics make these sorts of cultural and social critiques about film, about literature, about music. And so she attempted to do that for video games from a feminist perspective. And they couldn't handle it. If she said something you disagreed with, how do you respond? You take on the critique with your own critique. But they couldn't do that because honestly, it was probably beyond them to even verbalize what their issue with her was, other than woman wants to change my games or something. Woman wants to see more inclusive games.
Take away the titties.
The point you bring up about. And the point you bring about like that happens to every narrative art form is absolutely valid. It's absolutely true. Like it does happen. It happens constantly in film where people just like they'll do an annoying critique of a film that like this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why you would critique it this way? Not necessarily that her things had that, but people will make wildly off the mark, big editorial like think pieces about film, but they won't get they won't start a movement of insane people being like, we need to this is a widespread conspiracy. Like that doesn't happen off of a small think piece. And the fact that she was critiquing it in that way is ridiculous. Bye, Rebecca!
Hi.
My voice raised 14 pitches from that.
I thought she used auto-tune.
That was pretty high. That was Mariah Carey high.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah.
Well, we can probably move on from video games.
Yeah, we can.
Anyway,
guys, there's a woman in the room. We have to start talking about video games.
I just want to clarify. All of us were literally just talking about like, well, here's the thing about feminism and how you should discuss feminism. And Rebecca walks into the room and we're like,
and then we were like, we need a woman.
Next subject, quick. We don't want a woman's perspective here. How have you been, Rebecca?
I've been good. How you guys been? I missed you guys' faces. I feel like it's
missed
been
you too.
4 weeks, a month.
Yeah. Were you gone last week too? Were you gone last week?
I was on last week. Yeah, last week.
Oh, you were on last week. Oh.
Yeah, I was.
You were gone last week.
You're
no,
talking
I was
like you were
on.
gone.
Yeah, you were gone, David. But
Yeah,
we
I
held
was
it down
gone.
for you.
Yeah, this is our first full show back for a while because we had the State of the Union and the week before that I think Rebecca was off, but the State of the Union didn't feel like a real show because we couldn't really
I
talk.
was on that show, but I was giving low energy, so it didn't.
All of us were, yeah. And so it's like this is kind of like the first return to form, I guess, with all of us here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels good. Nice to have everyone here.
I'm happy we're here. I'm happy to see your face.
I'm happy to witness your guys' reformation of the Voltron leftist.
If only we were as powerful as Mike made it out to be. So, what should we talk about? What else happened?
So, I was gonna ask you guys if you guys saw the I was gonna ask you guys if you saw about the Nickelodeon stuff. But also,
I started to watch your video, and then I'm like, I want to watch. I don't want any spoilers. I want to watch this documentary.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I haven't had time to watch
that documentary. Is insane. I don't know if I've told you guys. I went to high school with Jack DeSena, who was on All That at the time when all this.
Oh,
was
really?
Going on.
Which character was he? You're saying his real name? Who was he?
He's you seen Avatar? He's Sokka.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was also on All That. He was on All That. Yeah, he was a cast member. I haven't talked to him about it, but like all of the things that like I have no like inside knowledge, but like all of the things that the documentary says are wild, right? They are in like the Drake Bell stuff, especially with dealing with SA and a lot of the horrific situations that happened. And the worst thing is like Nickelodeon being like, well, we had executives kind of interview like review the footage, so this documentary isn't 100% accurate. Doesn't make sense because like if you did, then these situations would not have happened. Like we wouldn't be like even at the time there was complaints about this. It's just wild to me that even happened. But I was going to talk about Stone Toss.
It really sucks because I had Ren and Stimpy taken away from me when I found out that the creator of Ren and Stimpy is just like a massive like pedo/sexual abuser.
I didn't know this.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I mean, the show was already weird, but it was good to us as kids.
But it was hilarious.
It was it was weird, but it was, I didn't know that.
Ren and Stimpy and Cow and Chicken were both fucked up, but the guy who did Cow and Chicken isn't a fucking pedo. Like that's the difference,
But the show continued without him. They booted him when they rebooted the show. Like when they brought the show back, I think it was on like.
And then they rebooted the series entirely. I think with him later on for that other network.
No, they booted him. I'm pretty sure he.
No. They booted him on Nickelodeon, but the series came back as an X-rated cartoon for adults later on another network, and then they brought John K back for that one. Even after I think all the
Spike. It was on Spike.
He's Spike TV. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that one was that destroyed my childhood. Do I need another? All Nickelodeon is bad. All the cartoons, all the shows, everything is nothing sacred. Like,
it's the live action stuff, right? All the live action, like the real actors.
It was a lot of the live action stuff with Dan Schneider, and it was the idea that like pretty much he would do. First off, he made it a bad work environment. Second off, there was a lot of it was horrendously sexist. Some stuff I couldn't put in the video because it got copyrighted, but like there's a point where one of the female writers was telling a story about her being in high school, and he said, hey, it'd be great if you just bent over the chair like you're being sodomized right now. And she's like, I don't want to do that. I was like, no, just do it. And he kept egging her on, and she finally did it. And that person that he did that to went on to be an executive producer on Modern Family. But like, so she also testifies in the documentary, but there's multiple jokes on air that feel like cum shot jokes. He would do other things in the office. Like he'd watch porn in the office. He'd watch, He'd make horribly terrible jokes. He tried
This
to
is
get
Dan
Amanda
Schneider
Bynes.
who did this?
This is Dan Schneider who did this, right?
Wow.
Is he still working in the industry? Or
He did the Ariana Grande
he's
stuff
kind
too,
of
right?
gone. But the thing about the documentary that's so interesting is it's one of those things where it's like, I feel what's interesting about that is like a lot of people say that this is a Hollywood thing. I really do feel like it's a power dynamic thing.
Yes.
Because, like, when Schneider was confronted with what happened to Drake Bell specifically said that Schneider was his biggest supporter on trying to get stuff against Peck. Like Drake was super like magnanimous about Schneider because he was horrified that happened. So I don't doubt that Schneider is probably apologetic, but he hasn't really accepted a full accountability. He put up this apology where he had like one of his former cast members who he was nice to come on and be like, Dan, that wasn't cool. That wasn't good. Also, you had the most diverse sets, and it was such a softball apology that it just seems like you're not really accepting full accountability.
I mean, that doesn't sound like even a softball apology. It sounds like a no apology.
He did. Yeah. He did apologize in the beginning. He did fully say like, "Hey, he gave like the most like if you were to write out an apology that somebody's supposed to do, you know how we like all criticize apologies, like the apology you're supposed to do to get some sort of like, okay, you're taking accountability. The first part of it has that. And then for every other allegation that's important, like how he was kind of shitty to certain black actors, how some of the jokes on his show were a little too adult or sexualized children in a way that shouldn't have. You know, I know this is going on YouTube. I'm trying not to be annoying. But like some of those jokes doing that, he shied away from taking full accountability. Like, I don't know, nobody informed me, but the whole point of the documentary is that people did inform you and they got fired, and they feel like that's why they got fired or got blackballed from the industry, because they confronted you with it. And one of the reasons they felt that you were a terrible boss, because when they confronted you, you would get mad at them. Like, you can't act like that's not part of the allegations that happened there. And it feels like he's sidestepping them entirely to just make it about like, oh man, the stuff that happened to Drake is horrible and I was a shitty boss. No, the stuff that happened to Drake is horrible. You're a shitty boss and you created the environment that could have happened. And if you're horrified by that, of course, we're all horrified by it, but you have to take accountability before any of this goes away or heals. And to be honest, even Josh Peck is getting backlash today, but Josh Peck at least had the wherewithal to call Drake like before anybody got mad at him for his like TikToks or anything like that, and be like, hey man, are you okay? We haven't talked in a while. Let's go through this, you know, and everything like that. Even Drake Bell saying that in a TikTok. Come on, man.
So who all is it? Is it just the Drake and Josh? It's Drake Bell in the actual documentary. Is there other Nickelodeon stars, child stars that are in the documentary? Not to spoil anything, but okay. Yes. So there are other people who are speaking up in it. And
there's one person's mother
is it episodic and everyone features a different person, right?
Oh, okay.
No, it's episodic, but it features a different scenario. So, like the first episode is female writers on the Amanda Show. It's overall. So the first episode features the female writers on the Amanda Show. Second episode features Amanda Bynes. Yeah. Second episode features a lot of Dan's work on all that and the Amanda Show post that period and how it led to certain things. And the third episode is pretty much entirely about Drake Bell and the allegations that happened. And the fourth episode is, I think, the aftermath of those allegations and how they kind of panned out. And that's also horrific. And I mean, like, it's just it's an example of so many levers that are there to protect kids in this environment just failing one after the other. It's not like there wasn't mechanisms to protect these kids there. It's that they were there, but they weren't pulled at the right times when they needed to be pulled. And that's why it's so sad.
They're talking about like that whole thing. They had to do those things also to level up in the industry.
It's not even that. It's just stuff like, I'm trying not to spoil it so you guys can enjoy it when you see it. Yeah. Okay. But not to enjoy it, but to at least digest it. Cause I feel like if I can tell you just tell me you'll watch it, you know? But like, I think like the thing about it is like, I'll give you an example. The biggest thing is there's a child, Brian Peck is a guy who committed SA on Drake Bell, right? That case was there for years. Like, people didn't know who the person was who he did that to. Brian Peck is friendly with everybody. He is genuinely like a nice person to everybody. They go over to his house one day and he has a self-portrait sent to him by John Wayne Gacy. That went viral recently on Twitter. So he's showing them this portrait of John Wayne Gacy and people are like, that's kind of weird, Brian. But people have some weird things. It's fine, right? Drake's manager, his father, right, starts to feel suspicious about Brian, the way he's acting around Drake. And he's like, I don't like this guy. And so Brian starts to put into Drake's ear, like, hey, your father's stealing your money. All this stuff is happening. This is a problem. He then goes to Drake's mom, who's divorced from Brian's father, and says, hey, your son is like your son's husband is your husband, your former husband. I'm so bad at talking. Your ex-husband is stealing your son's money and is being a problem, blah, blah, blah. And he tells that to Drake. Drake goes to stay over with his mom, and then his mom calls his dad and is like, hey, Drake doesn't want you to be his manager. And his dad's like, hey, please just keep him away from Brian. Well, Drake's mom lives in Orange County, and Drake's mom doesn't want to drive him to LA to do all this stuff. And Drake is still trusting of Brian. So he's like, hey, I'm just going to stay over. Brian's like, hey, you can stay over at my place. I'll come pick you up over the times that you're auditioning for stuff. And that is the perfect storm of horrible things happen. It doesn't happen once. It happens a lot. And if you read the court stuff, it's horrific. The stuff it's the worst possible thing like that you hear, like American crime levels of horror of what this kid had to deal with.
They're all going to be scarred for life. Like, that's so sad.
They are, though. That's why we don't see much of them.
And Drake has himself had similar situations where he's gone into, like, he was caught texting an underage girl. It is said that it didn't evolve to that level of intensity, but like, that's a person who struggled with substance abuse and all of these other problems. And you see how that cycle goes on. And again, like, Brian Peck had supporters. He had other people who he had groomed as well. And that whole system failed these kids because we were like, oh, we don't take these allegations seriously. Brian's got to be a good guy, especially at the time in the early 2000s with everybody being like, they just want attention. They just want attention, don't they? Right? You have to know that like, especially in a kid's environment, you have an oversized level of responsibility that just absolutely failed these people, especially since Brian Peck was one of 2 people who assaulted people on that set. I'm so sorry I talked so long. I'm talking so
No, it's okay.
No, I'm interested in watching this.
But I have seen different clips.
Drake Bell, not Drake the bad rapper. Blurred lens pictures. Drake Bell.
Oh, no, not Drake. You said he's a bad rapper? Okay.
I like Drake. No, he said he's a bad rapper. Don't make me start beef with Drake. I don't want to have this moment right now. I'm rapping the news right now, bro.
It did sound like you were. It did sound like you were saying it. I'm just saying.
Thank you for clarifying.
I would win in a battle, but don't say that, okay? I'm not saying.
Yes, confidence. But it's like, I've seen clips though. I've seen clips going around online. I haven't had the chance to actually play them, go through them, or watch the documentary. But I did see one that I was kind of confused about, where it was whoever it was. I don't know if it was the person that you're saying, Don Snyder, whatever, apologizing, but it was a black male with dreads who was speaking on behalf of somebody, and saying, yeah, my bad.
Oh, from TMZ, yeah. He was on the shows, but the thing is that he was an adult when this took place, so he was
somebody who was in the Nickelodeon world space as one of the.
Are you talking about Boogie, the guy who was
the guy from TMZ?
He has locks. He okay. I didn't watch it, but I saw everybody saying, he was speaking up for allegedly the person that
he 100%. Here's the thing, that guy was 100%. Like, the way that he was part of Steiner's apology. So he starts out like, hi, I'm Boogie. I was on iCarly and I reached out to Dan. And the whole apology just feels like an after school special with the way he's doing it. And like, it brings to mind, do you guys remember when Woody Allen was getting called out for the 17th time, but the final time? And they did a profile on Soon-Yi where his wife, who used to be his adopted daughter. That is a crazy sentence that just came out of my mouth. So like, there's a guy who does this profile on Soon-Yi, and it's basically meant to be like, hey, was Woody Allen just as bad as everybody is making it out to be? The problem is, within about a paragraph, the guy goes, I've known Woody Allen for years. He's been a close friend. I'm like, okay, well, then you're not the guy to investigate this,
Right.
because clearly you have bias. So that's what this felt like, not to the level of how the perversion that Woody Allen was, but like to the fact that this person is obviously he has a reason to be on your side. And there's a point where they're like, where he's like, again, like I said, like he said, like a lot of black actors said that they had bad experiences with you, and I don't want to speak on their journey, but in my experience, you had the most diverse sets. And then Dan Schneider's like, of course, I was so proud of the diversity in my sets. And there's like a 3-camera setup for this apology. When you're taking accountability, you shouldn't be like, all like, man, I was such a good person at making a diverse set. That makes it worse. That means that you had a diverse set. You had people who you were putting up, like Kenan Thompson. I will not disagree. He made the Amanda Show, which was a show with a female-led sketch show, right? Starring a child actor. That's an enormous, like, of all the diversity, that's a huge, like, play for DEI. But even still, people felt upset on that set. There was a black actress who felt especially harmed and upset with the way she was treated on that set. That means you failed. That means you have to be like, I had a blind spot. I fucked up. It's okay. We all had blind spots. I had blind spots. Fucking, I'm brown. I'm one of the people who's been shit on a lot. You know, like everybody has blind spots, and it's okay to admit them. And when you were being confronted with a fucking 4-part documentary about your blind spots, for you to go, I had the most diverse sets. Thank you, my friend. Here's the 3-camera setup with a wide shot. Fuck off with that.
But there's just no accountability. That's the problem.
And it
There's
goes
no
back to the whole
accountability.
power thing. Like, I think it's more so in the industry. It's not just in Hollywood. It's in, work. It's in workspaces. It's in music. It's in all that. I would say, dare to say, to go back to the whole Diddy thing. When we heard about with Usher, even Usher speaking out, their interviews with different people, but particularly this one for me, Usher speaking out about being with Diddy at a very young age, and there were women who were older than him. And I remember in this in particular interview, they were like, "Oh, really? You were, seeing these young women while you were like super young?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then they were like, "Well, you weren't with any of the women or anything like that? You like at this party that Diddy was throwing that was very erotic and all this other stuff was going on?" He was like, "I never said all that." But it's like they're put into these positions very young, and I feel like it's almost like it's like a burning sands. They have to cross the burning sands to get anywhere because of power. If this person in power wants you to do this in entertainment or whatever to get up, you do it so that you can get to where you want to go. And it's a level of respect to that person in power, no matter how painful, ridiculous, like outlandish that thing that they're asking you to do can be. That's what it just seems like. It's just about people abusing power. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's what we're seeing a lot of people speak up about. But back then they just felt like they could do it because it was part of the industry kind of thing. And now people are saying that this is happening and everybody's like, yeah, but did it really
in every
happen?
Industry.
This person, we're talking about Diddy. This is the same person that was talking, about vote or die. This is the same person that gave us Biggie. This is the same person that did all, this is the guy that gave us the Diddy Bob.
I have a Diddy story.
People are complicated. Like no one's like perfectly like perfect. No one's, there's to try and hide behind, diversity is so like that doesn't give you a free pass to be a piece of shit.
Or good deed. Yeah. Like this person did a good deed.
I want to hear the Diddy story. I want to hear the
Oh yeah, I do want to hear that Diddy story, please.
So I went to school. I went to Berklee College of Music, and one of my professors, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to out him as his story, but he worked with Diddy. He worked with Biggie. And so one of the days, like he would tell us, like in his classes, he would tell us about that time that he was working at Bad Boy, and he was saying like there are people in this industry who do flex power, and you have to understand the power dynamics of everything. And one of the things he would say about Diddy was Diddy would occasionally have like interns and stuff like that who were doing well, and he wants to keep them on an even foot, that they're put them in place. So he would be like, hey, you go get me some coffee. They would go get him coffee, and he would fucking throw it on the phone. It's like, no, I said tea. And he would do that shit like consistently. Like, and my teacher at the time said, like, I saw him do this. I saw him do this with a lot of different things, because it's and you can see like with the way Diddy talks about 48 laws of power and all this other kind of stuff and all these other kind of allegations. Like, it's one of those things where like some bosses and some people feel like I got to crack the whip. At one point I was on a YouTube channel with this guy who was like, we were doing a history channel, and this guy was like, I'm a super big conservative, and he owned the channel. I'm like, okay, bro, great. And so every so often he would go in and he would just like aggressively be like, hey, you guys got to be fucking on this, like really annoyed. And then I asked the guy who was like right above me, I was like, hey, why does he do that? Did we piss him off? It's like, no, he just said that he has to crack the whip sometimes to put everything in place. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, why the fuck?
How was that ever effective?
But that's how
directors do.
It's so stupid.
It's weird because people want to be like, you don't want to be too. Their idea is like, you don't want to be too friendly if you have to put down a directive so people will order you. But I have never in my experience ever had a situation where I'm friendly with somebody and they don't understand their responsibilities. I've only had situations where I'm aggressive with people and they don't feel like they want to do their responsibilities because I'm not treating them as they should be. That's something I had to learn when I was doing like theater directing and shit like that. Like I had to learn like, okay, I got to be better about this stuff. I would never crack the whip on somebody though, which also is a really fucking offensive term.
But that's
like,
the environment. That's how it is. I came out of journalism, even when I was in journalism, but I remember meeting people who did, and I have names, honey, for days. But I remember meeting a lot of people who would tell me I had to do these certain type of things. And of course, I mean, I've been in rooms and with people in places and asked to do certain things, maybe, hit on or whatever the case may be. And because I don't give into that, I don't get the position, I don't get the job, I don't get whatever, or they make it harder for me. But I've also seen, especially back in the day, internships are not the same because, listen, what I love about the new kids is that they're going to work for a coin. However, they don't like to be spoken to with authority. It's always a problem. But I will say this, back then, internships, the cracking of the whip, no matter how smart, intelligent, how much better you were than the person you were working for, how you were able to apply your skills, they were like, they would say, like, I remember working for the news station locally. I worked also for the local radio at my university. It was great. I was one of the biggest personalities at the time. But then when I was working for the local news station, they made sure that we had to work for free because it was an internship, and that was part of the credits that we had to get. But working for this particular news station and what they would make us do, we did everybody's job. We had to be there at a certain time. They treated us like shit. They made us like we couldn't really eat like that. Like it was a whole thing. We wrote up the scripts for the main anchor, who was old as hell. And this is in Tallahassee. Guess what year I went, and you could find him. But he was so old, couldn't do a thing, didn't know how to run a computer or nothing, but would speak down on us. Right, me and and we would do the producers' work. Producers weren't coming to work, and we were just college students. So doing the producers' work, assistant producers' work, getting the stories, listening to the cop radio to see what's next. All of the above we would do to make sure that local news stations was going great. But after that we wouldn't get. They told us like, you should be happy that we even gave you this opportunity. You should be happy. You should be happy that we did that. And if you're nice enough, then we will allow you to do a tape so that you can utilize for your resume. If you're not nice to us, we won't allow that. No matter how much work we did. I remember working for a show. I talk about this, but the show was called Blood, Sweat, and Heels. It's apparently on Netflix now. I worked on the show for one of the people on the show. I ain't gonna say her name, but I remember with her. She was like this big journalist, and I was so excited. This Black woman I'm working with, absolutely loved it. But I remember having to do so many things. I remember one time she needed to go get some clothes. I'm here to be, working alongside you. I'm supposed to get paid. All of the above. They were shooting for the show. I didn't care to be on camera. I was a little poor at the time, just graduated college, and I'm working with this lady. And so I remember she calls me up for a couple of things, some things including where she needed to get something under the sink. Y'all, for what reason I had to come down there and get the thing under the sink for her. She didn't tell me she didn't tell me she spilled soap on the floor. I got up, I had soap on my knees, and then she sent me downtown. My knees is all messed up. She sent me downtown to go get clothes for her. And I came back and did that. I remember she wanted me to get clothes for her for a certain episode. This is not what I signed up for, but this is part of the internship. She told me to go get clothes for her. I did that, came back on camera. This is last minute. Who knew she was going on a trip? I didn't. She called me last minute. I ran up there. She threw she sent me to a boutique. I went to the boutique. There's only whatever there's in the boutique. She told me to get these nude colors or whatever. I'll never forget it. I got on like the C train, like had to run down, do what I need to do, hop back on the train, get back to her in Harlem. And then when I got there on camera, she did this. But thank God the producer of the show was like, yeah, we're not airing that. You were disrespectful. But she threw the clothes at my feet and told me, why would you bring this to me? Why would you do this? This is, I don't wear stuff like this, and told me to get out. It was so nasty to me that day. But that was like the second time, because another time I helped her with one of her events that she had on the show. She didn't like the lipstick that I had on. So she made me go and take the lipstick off, like stuff like that. And there was no reason for any of this, but she said I had to go through this to learn. I don't know how that was going to help me learn but maybe that was helping me learn what I was going to deal with in the industry when I got in, where people were going to just have to treat me in that way. But when I thought about it, I'm like, yo, I don't care I don't care the fact that you living in the same building with Don Lemon that I see every day. I don't give a damn. You can't, like, don't treat me like this. Like, I'm working with you. I'm really happy to work with you. I'm a fan of your work. I like to see a Black woman who's made it, but they just believe that in this industry, once you've made it, and if there's anybody that may be a threat to you in any way, shape, or form, or whatever, you have to make them cross the burning sands. That don't apply to anything in their life, but it's supposed to teach you something. But I needed to start writing articles. I wanted to be around, that's what would have helped me. But for them,
it's just an excuse. It's just an excuse for them to have their power trips and
enjoy it.
Disrespect. There are so many shitty people that work in television. Like, when I think I brought this up on the show before, but I worked on one episode of this show called Pick a Puppy. It was on CMT, and it's where their family goes and picks between two different.
Oh man, I just started binge watching that. That's great. Are
you serious?
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Season 3, it gets nuts. You don't know the puppies they're gonna pick.
It's like your standard, stupid reality show. But I worked for one day because my friend needed help, who's on the show. I'm like, all right, I'll come help. And they just treated him like absolute trash. He had been working there for at least a few months. They knew who he was. Just the way they talked down to him, the way this is like a 12-hour day, just talking shit the whole fucking. By the end of the day, I was shaking with rage. I wanted so badly to fuck these people up, but I could. Yeah. I was afraid of him getting losing his job or something, so I didn't say anything. But I think I did eventually send an email to the producer who wasn't there at the time. What the do you know the fucking freaks that are working for you? Do you understand the kind of disaster they put my friend through? The worst fucking people work in the industry.
I was gonna add, I love how all three of you were this is a real story, and I don't want to give away who it is, but I am just gonna give some hints right now. This happened in 1996. It happened with a producer named S. And don't Google this, but
this is like quiet. This is
Rebecca,
like quiet
I'm looking
on
up
set
your show. I'm curious who this crazy person.
You're using the internet way more than they need to go to town.
Yeah, no, look, because she sent me a cease and desist.
Did she really?
Yeah, and she did. After I did all this work for her, she treated me and I thought she even put it under the guise of her being like a true sister to me, and I really needed that. I was alone in New York City. Yeah, she did. She did. She sat down and she said, "Do you know why I did that to you? Do you understand?" Why
it was a learning experience. That's why I treated you like shit.
And then
that's the Diddy shit, period. Yes. That's the
abuser
whole.
It's your favorite,
bro.
Yeah,
your
that happens
actress.
so much in. That happens so much in. Sorry, I'm sorry, Rebecca.
No, we do this all the time. Every time you come on, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be this. But it's okay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. No. If we're playing cheat, you're going. Go for it.
Okay, look. No, even their favorite activists. See, we can go in so many different arenas. Like I said, just your corporate job or whatever. Working with your favorite activists. I had a show coming out. It was great. Again, you can just go on Twitter and type in whatever activist you feel like typing in that's really loved amongst white soccer moms. That changes his religion and changes whatever he every other day. But we've been working with him. I had there was a threat and I had to sign something because I had the audacity to speak up about his treatment of us within this show that we were going to do. And so it was. Even in how he was speaking to us, how he carried us, it was he almost made it feel like you're working with me. Be for real. And I'm like, I don't give a damn if I'm working with you, what you're doing to these particular people, especially this young woman at the time that he was like beating up on virtually, and having because he used his power to have this woman, this young girl who was a journalist and wanted to get a story out. I mean, she was doing the work that all other people were doing online as well. And she had the audacity to say, you know, where are the coins that you raised for X, Y, and Z? And she was like saying, can I get any help? Because this person is reaching out to my school and has the head of this school of journalism telling me that they're going to take me out of the program. This is how much power he has. And telling me they're going to take me out of the program and, you know, remove my internship with, I think it was Teen Vogue. I want to say, I don't remember, but she was working with a magazine at the time. And the people that he knew were contacting this young girl and telling her if she does not take down her tweet. And mind you, other people have put this in articles and everything, but this young girl he went after and was threatening to take away everything from her if she didn't take away her tweet that just questions, where are the funds that you raised? That was it. And I had to speak up about that. And because of that, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable working alongside this person like this. And then essentially, I would say I was blackballed when I decided to step away from that. Super duper blackballed. Couldn't get a job to save my life in that time. Couldn't speak to people. People were speaking to me in secret and all this, and asking me, you know, would I be able to make it? Was so dreadful, y'all. In this industry, even within this industry, just working alongside each other. If you don't even treat somebody who seems to be at a high pedestal with grace or whatever, no matter how, if you have the audacity to check them, baby, just forget about it. If they know people that know people that know people, it gets super hard for you.
I got another story similar to yours, Rebecca, actually. So like I said before, like I do stuff for Evo, the fighting game tournament, right? There was a time where like that whole ecosystem was doing really, really well in 2009, 2010. Like that's when I had gotten into it. There was a guy named Mr. Wizard. You can look him up. You're not going to find good things. But Mr. Wizard was the guy who was the general manager of Evo. He was one of the people who had come up in the arcade scene, done a bunch of great things. And this event was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was the start of Twitch. It was so highly integrated into it. Wizard was like a vindictive asshole. If he liked you, he would help you out immensely. There was points where he liked me, where he immeasurably helped my career. There are points where he was upset with me or had some little tiff with somebody else where he would destroy their career and all of their opportunities in one fell swoop because he was having a bad day, right? I know multiple people whose entire trajectory of their lives was altered because Wizard was just in a pissy fucking mood. I was working as a journalist for SRK, which was their operation where they do gaming news, and they were owned by Complex. Wizard fired me and blackballed me from all opportunities within that esports ecosystem because of some fucking, because there was an interview that I had where, like, you know, the guy was like, hey man, you don't have to finish, we're good, we're okay. And this guy told Wizard about it, and Wizard, like, he had like a bat, like they were annoyed with Wizard for something, and Wizard pinned it on me and fucked me over, right? And I had to just deal with like being so separated from that community for years and years and years. And I know other people who were also fucked over by Wizard for years and years and years. Well, a couple of years during the Me Too movement, or not even after the Me Too movement, like 2020, it came out that Wizard had acted improperly with other people, possibly minors, right? And other shit that he had done. And it all came tumbling down. Wizard was blackballed, and we got a new guy. His name was Rick. Rick is the opposite. That's the guy I work with now. There's never a point where it is made that he is above you or better than you. And he is. He is above me. And I feel like he is more experienced than me much of the time, even though sometimes he's like, dude, you're good in this lane, right? Like, that's the way a boss should be, in the sense that we're all professionals here. We're all working. I'm in charge, but I respect you as a professional. The second it becomes where you're lucky to be here and I'll fuck you if you don't do what I need you to do, you ruin the final product. You ruin the longevity of the project you're doing. That activist that you're talking about, Rebecca, who we clearly will not name, but everybody fucking knows who it is getting his life fucked over right now, right? Nobody believes that shit. And I think that, like, especially when you look at the Nickelodeon documentary, when you look at everything that's going on in general, we like to cordon off these situations like, oh, it's in this industry, it's in this industry. It's in every industry.
Yes.
People are narcissistic, not because they're assholes, but because they're scared. Everybody gets scared when they're in a position and they don't want to lose the thing that they've worked so hard for. So they're shitty to younger people because they want to be seen as figures of authority. And as soon as that gets out of control, all of a sudden you have these instances where stars are abused, where Rebecca has to go get somebody's fucking dry cleaning or some other bullshit, and they don't and has to sign a cease and desist letter, where I don't get to do the thing that I love to do for so long. Everybody probably on this podcast has a situation where that's happened, and it's endemic, not only for the structure and the life of your business or whatever you're trying to do for you to be better, but it's endemic for you as well, because it catches up to everyone. There's not a single person we know in the last 20 years who's been an asshole where it hasn't caught up to them. For Hugh Grant, it caught up to him when he was called out by The Daily Show. He was the only guest who was banned, and then he was like, oh, I was an asshole. And then recently he's come up again that he was an asshole to, there was one, the girl from, the lady from Dune mentioned an actor, and they immediately clocked it as Hugh Grant being an asshole to her, right? Like, it always catches up to you. Yet we're in the age of social media. You think bad behavior is going to get papered over forever, right? Nobody thinks Elon Musk is still Tony Stark anymore. You know, this shit. It's
not after
like
that Don Lemon interview. Let me say.
Oh my god, that interview.
Exactly.
Was
and I came on here. You know what? And I came on here twice, and everybody already knows that Binder's not going to remember me the fourth time. We all know where this is going. We all know we're abuses of. I'm just fucking with you, Bender.
You're the Mortal Kombat guy, right? The one who says Mortal Kombat. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's cool. Good job.
It's all good.
I love you, Bender. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, David, your video about Elon Musk and Don Lemon was great. I didn't see the full thing. I just watched your video. It was so good.
We could talk
and
about
that's
Elon
why
Musk,
Don Lemon couldn't no longer do his show on X. Is this why? So he did his show.
I'm actually not clear what their contract was even about.
Do y'all know the contract?
Don Lemon. I have to imagine it was like a timed exclusivity contract.
That's it. He was getting funded.
But he was doing his show.
Exclusivity. Was that it?
His show was always going to be on YouTube, though.
Okay.
Like, he has full control over it.
It was an exclusive first air if there was even a contract signed, because there were reports that there wasn't even they didn't even sign the contract.
Okay.
But, it was going to be first uploaded to X and probably remain there for a day or two before it got uploaded to YouTube and other platforms as well. But it wasn't like for X specifically.
Yeah. Then the interview.
I don't like
during that interview the whole time where he's just like, oh, like, I have to go, Don. Like, are you upset? Like, no, I have to go. Like, no, but just it seems like you're upset. No, like, I have like there's so many people that want to hang out with me.
They actually did that.
I did see that clip on Twitter aside from David's video, and it was like it felt like, and I don't think it came like he wanted to come across this way, but it almost felt like Don Lemon was taunting Elon because Elon was being such a fucking piss baby, and Don was just like, I don't understand why you're getting mad. Like, I'm trying to just ask you a basic question here, like why you don't want to answer. It was amazing.
It was so good. Like I said, I'm not even the biggest Don Lemon fan.
I'm gonna take your video out too, David.
Yeah.
I'll play one clip that I utilized in the in my video on it. Like, this is the one for me that's just like it showcases how far down the right wing rabbit hole he is, and just Don Lemon bringing this up is really good.
There's approximately 20 seats in the House.
So they're talking. So wait, this is the clip I want to show. They're talking about wait, I'm not sure this is the clip I want to show.
Can we just like appreciate like David's branding on his stuff? Like, every time I see like your videos, David, I'm like, fuck, man, I failed branding school, bro. Like, that's so it looks so.
You think my branding's good? I don't think we think it's that good.
It's solid.
And David be looking fresh on his when they be
David
popping
looks
up on
fresh,
my
bro.
He be looking awake and ready for the show. Okay.
Like people in my YouTube comments are like, Zed, are you?
I make sure I
you
shower.
need to get some rest. I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do?
I like David's branding, but I wish he would put his own name instead of Don Lemon's. Like, it's a good logo, but you should put David instead of Don.
David.
That's how I got famous. I'm Don Lemon. Yes.
After the door blew off this mid-flight Miss Alaskan Airlines flight, do you remember that? You responded to a post claiming that the average HBCU grad was less intelligent than the average airline pilot, and stated that it will take an airplane crashing and killing hundreds of people for them to change this crazy policy of DIE. I don't know if did you misspell it on purpose, which it should be DEI. Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots?
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
Okay. But there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot, landed the plane safely despite the major malfunction with the equipment. Boeing has taken responsibility for that incident, saying that it was caused by a faulty door panel. So I'm not sure what that had to do with lowering the standards for pilots when it was a faulty.
No, it's not lowering standards for pilots. It's the incentive structure. I believe at Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. But in my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand how by saying just that standards are being lowered, that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women?
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
But you don't?
That's it.
I think everyone can agree that you shouldn't lower standards.
Great.
But you're implying that they're lowering standards because of people of color or women, because someone is not a white male. You're saying that they're less skilled and less intelligent. That's what
No, I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that they are.
Then why would they be lowering the standards?
I don't know. Why are they lowering the standards?
Sounds kind of racist,
Just so you know,
Elon.
5% of pilots are female, 4% are black. So you're talking about this widespread takeover of minorities and women when that's not actually true.
So good.
I'm not saying there's a widespread takeover.
Well, you're saying that the standards are being lowered because of certain people.
I want to.
That to me is so incredible.
Let me say something about this. And Wokeness tweeted that out as like he posted that clip as if this is something that really makes Elon look bad. And then Tim Pool quote tweets that and says, Don Lemon doesn't understand hypothetical scenarios or hypothetical something. I was like, exactly. It's all made up. These are all hypotheticals. Every single thing that scares you, it's not real. These are real problems.
Tim Pool is
There's
a
no
blunderbuss on his wall.
You know?
I don't take him seriously, bro. Like that guy.
I mean, all of the right who were talking about DEI taking over, all of the right who were talking about how there's this problem with black pilots or black doctors, and all of a sudden they don't have to meet the same qualifications as everyone else because of DEI. It's made up. These are not real problems. This is like oppression simulator.
Black people are scary. Black people are
Yeah.
scary, and whatever they do, we have to fear black people. Black people will always be inferior, no matter what. They have to make up things. There are real issues going on in America, even amongst white folks. But here's what we're going to focus on, and it's going to be this. And I think Don Lemon did this on purpose, in my opinion, because he's been a journalist for a long time. This is somebody that I even have watched since I've been itty bitty when he had that young skin. And now here we are. He's very, he's seasoned in the game. I don't think he would have just did this interview. See, feds watching. I don't think he would have just did this interview. I don't think he would have just did this interview as I get my battery right. And just like that, I think that he would have done it because he did want to expose Elon Musk for who he is. So
I don't even think I think it's one of those. You know what's interesting? Like I've been wondering. I've seen bits and pieces of the interview. I've not seen the full thing. But like you can tell, like every single piece of the interview that I've seen where Elon has just seemed so like on edge about that. I didn't see that clip. What's so interesting to me about that clip, especially, is like it's one of those things where we were talking earlier about like Gamergate and how they frame it as this thing about like it's about ethics and journalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a point where the framing takes hold and the people who are grifted double down and go into that rabbit hole. Watching this, obviously racist, right? Like to imply any of that. But in his brain, the way he's making it in his brain work is like, no, I'm talking about work ethic, and to be even told that it's racist, like, bro, that's racist. Like I'm working for you. I'm letting you know. Can you understand that it's racist? Here is the biggest softball you can hit out of the park. Just do it. He can't reconcile that with his his whole thing. Like, he seems so touchy-feely. Like, how dare you would imply that, you know, he's gotten so thin-skinned about it that he'll die on that hill while doubling down on racism. You know, like, that's what's insane. Like, I'm fascinated by people who will delude themselves into the worst possible, like, bigoted mindset from just to try to keep their own identity afloat, right? Like, even later on when he goes and he says, like, oh, I don't care about like it doesn't matter if I lose as much money. I bought the X platform to save free speech. Bro, if nobody uses your platform, you haven't saved free speech in your brain, right? If people are telling you about this is what we need for free speech, like, if you just listened a little bit, you would save it, but you're not doing that. You're making it your speech, not free speech. But he's so thin-skinned, he can't fucking see beyond his own little bubble with a Tesla logo on it, you know?
On the subject of like this whole DEI thing, so I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Charlie Kirk saying that he's like fearful of black pilots, and he thinks, oh, I hope that person's qualified if I see a black pilot. So he teamed up with Kyle Rittenhouse. And it did not go well for Rittenhouse when he showed up to a particular university in a majority black city. He was questioned about him teaming up with Charlie Kirk. And I'm just going to play the video for you because this is like, I think that Kyle
Are you trying to say he was a snowflake? Are you trying to say he wanted a safe space? That he
seems
didn't
like
want
he
to have a
kind of
high
was
marketplace of
yearning for
ideas
one.
and battle in it?
Charlie Kirk looks like his jaw got stung by a bee and he never got it fixed. Like, he's just
but instead of like swelling, his face shrunk. Is that what happened?
Yeah, his face looks enormous.
It had the opposite
his face looks like his face looks like the ones that from Rick and Morty that come down and they're like, "Show me what you got."
Yeah,
you know,
it looks like a skull.
Every time he says something racist, his face gets smaller. So he's doing it to himself.
Yeah, get bigger.
Reverse Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's literal. It's proven in science. So this is basically, look at how Kyle Rittenhouse responds to the allegations of Charlie Kirk being racist. This to me was great. This is another Chaya Rai chick, Kyle Rittenhouse, where he has no charisma but really wants to be an influencer.
CEO of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, has said a lot of racist things. Like what racist things has Charlie Kirk said? We're gonna have a little bit of a dialogue. But what racist things has Charlie Kirk said? Okay, I'll answer the question of racist things he said. He says we shouldn't celebrate Juneteenth. We shouldn't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. We should be working those days. It's called Ketanji Brown Jackson, an affirmative action hire. He said all this nonsense about George Floyd. And he said he'd be scared if a black pilot was on a plane. Does that not seem racist? I don't know anything about that. Okay, well, after all the things I just told you, would you consider that hate speech? I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, and they had
he fucked that up. That's him.
He had to end that event early because it was just people.
He runs off like seconds after that. Do you not have the clip? I can send it to you.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have that shit.
Can you set that clip to the Benny Hill theme with him running off? Like,
it's just like nobody was there to support him. It's like I don't understand why.
Can I just ask first the obvious question?
These...
Why is he giving a speech at a college?
Thank you.
What knowledge is he going to impart?
Hey, I killed people. Questions, please. Answer.
Like
you
what
first.
the fuck is he doing? This shows you how much money conservatives have to pour into these fucking dipshits and try to prop them up and create something out of these fucking losers. Yeah, and they're all there to heckle him because they're like, "Why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here?"
They were there with them. They were there on a mission. They were there to check him. Yeah.
I love how he's like, "Can you give me one example of Charlie Kirk being racist?" And he just lists them immediately. Just so good.
Yeah, like, I don't know anything about that.
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't
black
Google
pilot
his
one was
name?
like that comment
Remember that
like 2
bus
weeks
he
ago.
funded to head over to the Capitol? Can we talk about that? January 6th. I know that they were there for that. They were there to check him.
Like he asked for examples.
I just
was given examples. He asked for examples, was provided examples, and then gave an answer that he could have given before hearing those examples that he doesn't know anything about it. I mean, the providing of the examples was something he was not ready for. Obviously, he really thought he pulled one over on them. Like, oh, give me an example. And he thought they weren't going to be able to give him one.
He thought he was trying to use the traditional debate bro tactics, where he was like, "Okay, well, give me an example, and I'll debunk that one by one." But he just like got bombarded. I haven't seen this video yet, so I think it's just a different angle, though. But
this one plays out.
You'll
see the rapid exit. He runs off.
Okay.
With his innocent dog. The dog is blameless in all this. Okay.
Oh, why is there a dog there? Oh,
it's his dog.
Yeah.
We gotta save the dog from him.
Dog.
Yeah, we gotta save the dog.
People love to bring their dog.
Let me refresh.
Yeah. Twitter is. I noticed today I wasn't able to play videos at full screen. Like Twitter is a terrible.
It's a terrible video platform.
It never works half the time.
FYI,
it's called the Tanya Brown Jackson and affirmative action hire. He's talked nonsense about George Floyd, and he said he'd be scared if a black pilot was on a plane. Does that not seem racist?
I don't know anything about that.
Then answer no. Does that seem racist? Is a yes or no question, Kyle.
Yes, camera person, be in the amen corner.
Deflection!
Come on.
Deflection!
Yeah.
Deflection!
I like this video better. I love the cameraman.
I like the commentary.
Boom!
Wow!
Snowflake!
Yeah!
Wow!
Who do they
I
think?
killed 2 people left.
Listen, we coming straight from the dorm.
If I ever need to heckle somebody out of a room, I'm just gonna be like, deflection! Deflection!
Yes. Because at the end of the day, like, you can't come here and be somebody who is promoting division. And we know what that looks like here in America, especially. We know that people are going out targeting marginalized communities because of the rhetoric that people like Charlie Kirk put out. So if you're coming to a college where kids who look like the people who are affected by these comments they go to, so they're going to come and they're going to check you. There is no reason why this man should be holding any kind of conversations. Go to one of them evangelical schools that's all about conservatism. They go there. They'll listen to you, but don't go over here to these schools where these kids have voices and they will check you at the front door, because that's going to happen. And you see who was in the room. You can tell that they were like, oh, Charlie Kirk come in. Oh, let's pull up. Let's buy these tickets or whatever it needs to be. Oh, let's pull up. And because you can see who was in the room. These are not people who support Charlie Kirk. And, and the room was pretty empty. So there's why was he there? Because like you guys said, that money that can go to communities that need it, they will fund for these losers, these conservative losers, to go and speak at these schools. It seemed like they are wanted at these schools, that their voice is necessary.
Somebody must have invited him too, right? They can't just show up.
In every school, they have a conservative team or whatever.
Yep,
so they to be
club
equal.
Get some funds. The club or whatever that's sponsoring him will get some funds and invite him.
It's all about getting, Kyle Rittenhouse destroys.
Yeah,
exactly.
A bunch of,
Liberal
he didn't get that clip this time.
But that's a good point though, because you have to think about it this way. Like, that guy, I haven't heard a shit ton about Kyle Rittenhouse in the last 2 years. I will hear about him every 6 months, right? But something that's interesting about it is because he was propped up as this conservative kind of figurehead, and most of the times when people get propped up like that, they go through this whole cycle where they learn media training, where they start to build up their platform and become a big thing. Rittenhouse didn't really do that. He didn't really have a lot of time. So this is somebody who's trying to put themselves into that ring. I think he was auctioning off a gun or something like that a few months ago. But he was trying to put his hat into the ring for this. And you can kind of tell he has absolutely no media training, especially, and he's done very little to build up his platform in a way that would work, and that shows you look, if people want to hear what you have to say, you don't have this much designed opposition against you, right? You're this is the problem with, again, I go back to the Cody Johnson thing we were talking about earlier, is all of these decisions and all of these talking points and all of this media ecosystem they've built is built out of spite. And if you don't have your whole bullshit operation backing you up, the other side of spite hits you right in the fucking face, and you have to leave with your dog running off stage because you can't answer basic questions, right? I can guarantee you, if it was any other bullshit conservative commentator, they probably would have stayed. They would have probably been able to deal with those questions because they would have grifted their way through it. But this guy can't because he doesn't have the training and he doesn't understand what it takes to live in this. I'm just saying it's the pastiche and the fakeness of it. He's not understanding of it as well. Like the technique's not there either.
He doesn't know how to gish gallop. He doesn't know how to evade questions. Like
he's not
somebody who's not
he's
media
not a
trained.
pundit yet. He wants to be a pundit. He's not a pundit. You know?
Yeah. Like a normal person would try to answer a question. When it's given to them. If you can't answer that question, you shut down. A propagandist or a pundit would just evade, reframe the question, answer it the way that they want to answer it, and then voila, just destroyed this college student. Here's a 10-second clip or whatever. But yeah, he reminds me so much of Chaya Raichik, where they're trying so hard to make it for themselves as a pundit, but they just don't have it, right? Like there's no charisma, there's not enough intelligence there to be able to hold a conversation with anyone, let alone a fucking debate. On the subject of Chaya Raichik, I wanted to bring her up because she made this story blow up about this Planet Fitness Karen. This lady, she was in a gym.
Oh my god!
Did you hear about this? Yeah. So I heard about this on Planet Fitness,
and I was
today.
like, well, why is Planet Fitness, which everybody who goes to Planet Fitness doesn't like Planet Fitness. I just want to let everybody know. Like, if you're making people who go to Planet Fitness defend Planet Fitness, you've done something wrong. You've done something horribly wrong.
But this lady, this old Karen, she just films like a trans woman in the bathroom that's shaving her.
She's old.
This young woman walks into a bathroom. No bias as I introduce this clip, okay? No bias.
This young, virile, 19-year-old woman.
This young whippersnapper.
I see why you hate her. Okay.
This young whippersnapper.
Mike's bias strikes.
Stop it.
This young freshman in college.
Yeah. Doesn't look a day over 30. Okay, we love old folks. No, but she decided to take pictures of a trans woman in the bathroom that was shaving her legs, and this was not somebody that was doing anything, just minding their own business. And this lady decided to throw a conniption fit about it. After this, which I don't know if we'll get into it, but like she's in an interview with Chaya Raichik talking about how this person isn't really trans and just wanted to make a statement. And she has like her Trump book in the background. So that's kind of who you're dealing with, just to give you like a little bit of superfluous information. But let me play it for you because she kind of
also
she gives away the game a lot.
Pause real quickly. Mm-hmm. She flipped the camera. Like you can tell she like filmed it like more than once, and she was just like, oh, I don't like this, and then she flipped the camera before she posted it.
Oh, she
I know because I used to
be a grifter.
Yeah, see, I used to do that because I hate the way I look. So game recognized game. Okay, so.
Good morning at 8 degrees below zero in Fairbanks, Alaska. Day 2 of Planet Fitness Saga. I came in Monday. There's a man in the women's locker room shaving. A little girl sitting in the corner. She could have been 12 years old. I don't know how old she was. In a towel. Kind of freaked out that there's a man shaving in her locker room. Well, I was offended. I took a picture of him and I asked him, why are you there? You're a man with a penis. Why are you in the women's locker room?
Normal
and
questions.
he justified by saying, I'm queer LGB. And I said, you shouldn't be in the women's locker room. Well, I left. And as I said this morning, I got canceled. Planet Fitness is defending the man in the women's locker room, the man with the penis, rather than the child sitting in the corner with a towel
She does not
wrapped
know
around
that.
her. So people, I just want you to know, this is weird. It's not good.
Did you see the penis?
It's rather disturbing. So I would like for you women to stand up and have a voice and stop these shenanigans.
Why is she
You
speaking
have authority. Use your authority. I took that picture because I felt like I was in a.
Oh, that's why you took the picture.
I felt like I was in an unsafe space.
Oh yeah, you felt unsafe.
And
As you're harassing
so I'm probably
somebody.
going to go report this to the police today. But I just
I
want to
feel-
tell
I feel
Shannon
like I'm in a
that
What
was the 12-year-old with
that
the
we're
towel?
safe on it.
What
Thank
was the
you
12-year-old
so
with the
much.
towel's mom? Why was
I have
she?
to say, I feel like I'm in an unsafe space with that fucking haircut. That's not, you know.
Listen, she's worried about all this, but was she not worried about? Okay, is the 12-year-old unsupervised? Why is the 12-year-old?
Why is it
There was a man with a penis.
Why is a
There was a man
12-year-old
with a
hanging
penis.
out in the
I'm
locker
trying to
room
figure
of
it out.
Planet
It's a man
Fitness?
with a penis.
Like, lady, are you not worried about the child? Because let's.
I'm trying to figure out how was she canceled? Do we know who she is?
She was canceled because here's what happened afterwards. So she thought she was going to get.
You didn't see day one of the Planet Fitness saga, did you? You didn't see the prequel.
I'm on season 2 of Planet Fitness Saga with Planet Fitness Karen, and she thought she was going to get the trans woman kicked out of the club, but guess what happened? She got kicked out of the club because you're not supposed to take pictures of people in the locker room because that's creepy.
She already got kicked out of the club?
Yeah, she's kicked out.
So that means she was. So that means she's canceled now. I like how
she's
cancellation applies to like you being a piece of shit getting kicked out of a club.
This local Planet
That's a cancellation.
Do you know how hard it is to get your gym membership canceled? And she got it canceled without wanting it canceled? I mean,
and like Planet Fitness released a statement.
That's how they get
They're
it
like,
canceled.
yeah, fuck it. And so what's funny is that they tried to turn this into like another Bud Light, and their stocks dipped, but it's right back up now, just a couple of days later. So complete fucking
because the
fail,
stock market is not does not
culture
portray
war.
how a business does over short periods of time like this.
People don't go back.
If that was the case, we would all be going to GameStop tomorrow to buy the new.
That's true.
Right.
Line go
Right.
up.
Someone took a screenshot of the Planet Fitness stock and then the Tesla stock, and they have the exact same trajectory over the same period of time. Like, that's just how the stock market is. You can't look at a single stock and assume that over a short period of time it dipped or pumped due to something they did or some sort of backlash. It's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to see the second part where she was interviewed by Chaya Raichik, but you can tell exactly.
She was
like,
interviewed by Chaya Raichik. I
that,
want to see this.
She was interviewed by her, and she's just like she is in that brainwashed like Fox News grandma, like exactly the kind of person she is.
She's gonna start giving speeches at universities next.
Turning point.
I want to see two of the greatest modern conservative minds.
What's the over under she does better than Kyle? What's the over under she does?
She would do better than Kyle.
She would do better. She would do better.
Oh yeah.
It's hard not to.
Yeah. So okay, let me.
Wait, hold on. Could we just appreciate her identity as just a former Planet Fitness member? What a sad life that is the peak. Your peak.
Oh my
Getting your gym membership canceled.
I'm so
This is
dead
enough
about
to
that.
get you on this show. This is a
Former Planet Fitness member. Okay.
All right, Patricia, take it away.
You're a man and you should not be in here. So would you please leave? And he tried to argue, so I walked out. So then it was Wednesday morning as I got a call from Planet Fitness. It was 8:55 a.m. And they said, Patricia, we have a situation, Miss Silva.
Why is
you
Chaya
know what I'm
blinking
talking about.
so
This is
fucking
Planet
much?
Fitness,
Oh my
and-
god.
She's
and we need to
listening really
cancel your
hard.
membership. You crossed our rules. And I said, I was not the offender.
You took a picture of somebody in the
were
bathroom, you
offended.
pervert.
Every woman in that bathroom, I'm sure, was offended. I can only assume that he goes in there.
Which, by the way, every woman now, she said that there was like a 12-year-old, which to have somebody that young in a gym in general is usually not something you see. Like at my gym, you have to be at least 16 to
Were you
use
not worried about the person in the the little girl in the 12-year-old in the towel? Like, where's her mom? Like,
Right.
that wasn't strange.
Yeah.
This is off topic, but I do have to say, it is amazing how much Chaya Raichik looks like Bizarro World Taylor Lorenz. Like, how there's Superman with his chiseled looks, and then Bizarro World Superman that's all like that.
It is really.
It looks like Bizarro World Taylor Lorenz.
Chaya Raichik is the Madeline Pryor to Taylor Lorenz Jean Grey.
That's crazy.
That is the deepest cut you will get from me about X-Men on this podcast.
What is Libs for TikTok? See, 'cause y'all, the Clock app. So she is identifies as a liberal, and she is
No. Libs of
You don't
TikTok.
know Libs of TikTok is they
You don't know
basically
Libs of
post
TikTok?
videos.
I wish I was you.
Well,
Yeah,
what what their advertisers doing is putting videos of liberal cringe, and it's not videos of liberal cringe. It's videos where it'll be someone who just exists, who's LGBTQ plus. Basically, it's like a teacher who's like, I use they them pronouns. I love kids, and she'll then post that video and say, this is a groomer, this is a pedophile, they're abusing kids. And then of course that person gets, and that school gets inundated with a whole bunch of death threats, bomb threats. She's been tied to numerous bomb threats to children's hospitals, nurses, doctors, people who take care of kids. She is straight up a sarcastic terrorist.
I think she says she's
old
like
enough to know better.
Late 20s, but I think she's like 45.
Baby, she's giving me, when you nasty, I told her about this on the show.
Yeah,
you nasty and you got a dirty heart and you do people dirty, baby, it ages you like an open avocado, baby. You got
she's not in her she's not in her 40s. She's younger than she looks. I recall, because I was one of the people when Taylor Lorenz identified who Libs of TikTok was. Like I was looking into her background. I found like her voting records in New York City when she lived here.
Go ahead, investigation.
Yeah, she's younger
than all of us. That's so insane to me.
How old is she? How old is she?
She's like 29 or 28.
The problem that I had with identifying which one is her is that there are Chaya Reichik is not a totally uncommon name within like the Orthodox Jewish community. So it was difficult to pin down exactly which one she was. But she's like
he's the one that was at January 6th. She participated in the coup attempt.
Right.
She's the person who tried to overthrow the government and hang Mike Pence. That group of people.
Yeah. Also, there was reporting recently that found that like this trajectory that she went on apparently ended her soon to be marriage. Like her fiance split with her because their family were more liberal. I mean, maybe not liberal, but not as conservative Jewish,
not insane
as she is, and so
that marriage was bound to end, though. To be fair, because she is a 6 on the Kinsey scale, and in terms of like her versus Patricia, like they look like they could be sisters. So I can't believe that she's 28.
No, because she has a nasty heart. She does people dirty. I told you it ages people. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Just like when men do people wrong, in relationships, and it makes their hairline go back like just all the way to the middle of their head. When women are nasty like that, or whoever, listen, it ages you. You just
This is like a Pokemon evolution. Like it's like before then after you evolve at like level 30, like 92.
Listen, because they're problematic people. They're responsible for people getting attacked. Like this woman, this old Karen, like you said, she an old Karen. Yes, they're responsible for people getting attacked. They're responsible for like these people going to places and shooting up places. They're responsible for this. We saw them. They're psychopaths. What they did, if they can do that at the Capitol, baby, and if they can do, and if Kyle Rittenhouse could be free and walking out and still spewing this type of rhetoric as well, these people are dangerous. It's not the person that's inside doing like minding their own business inside of the damn gym that is the issue. It's these people that are dangerous.
Let this be a lesson to anyone. Rebecca is right. Hate does age you. You might not believe this, but Patricia is only 27 years old. Okay.
They got White Walkers up in Alaska. Apparently.
Listen. Shirley Temple lookalike Patricia Silva has.
to what Rebecca was saying, I want to say, who's scarier, the person who is in the bathroom that they think they identify with, or the person who runs into the bathroom with a camera going, show me your male penis, I want to see the male penis? That sounds way more frightening. If someone did that, I would be like, like that's clearly the person.
Okay, white racist accent.
Do we have to keep looking at them? Can we move
do you want to watch more, or should I take it off?
Oh, is there more?
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
Okay. A little bit more.
They both look.
Wait,
crazy.
hold on. Has anyone reported on this woman's background? I just decided to do a little.
I see a Trump book.
Yes, go ahead.
Very quickly. FMK.
Do you mean literally the background?
Chaya Reichik.
Yeah.
FMK. Chaya Reichik, Patricia Silva, or Katie Britt.
Marry Katie Britt.
I am not going to answer that question.
Marry Katie Britt. Kill Chaya. Fuck Patricia.
Yeah.
No, wait. The thing I never get about fuck, marry, kill is that is that the marry one implies that you will be engaging in intercourse with them numerous times over the.
I don't agree. I think you can be in a loveless marriage.
You know what? After saying that,
you can be in a
literally
loveless
as
marriage.
I said it, I'm like, this is a terrible
you have to
idea.
consummate
Why
once. No,
and I jumped in immediately, Zed.
I appreciate you, Mike.
I bit that
you
bullet
falling
immediately.
Down. There you go.
Mike
Game
is ready.
recognized game.
He's always ready. He's gonna be your. He's gonna be your.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Patricia
because I'm a
tomorrow.
homosexual, so nothing I say matters in terms of fuck, marry, kill when it's regarding women. So
we don't need to. We don't need to even go there.
Here's my issue. Here's my issue too with Riot. I know that you haven't heard of her, Rebecca, but like what I find so interesting about it is just there's just so many things about it that just seems so. I think I'm getting more and more frustrated about how transparent like the grift, like how predictably transparent the grift is, right? Like not that I liked it when it was like under the surface and we were like, oh, we're just raising concerns, but how transparently, like, within 24 hours, Patricia's going to be on a Zoom call with Chaya, right? That Chaya is going to be talking to the school board, all of these things. And it gets to the point where it's, I don't know. It's just disturbing to me how easy and transparent. Like, it's not a dog whistle anymore. The dog whistle is an actual whistle. That scares me. The upgrade of that, I mean, I think we've been talking about that for a minute, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's up to you all if you want to watch any more. I have it ready just in case.
Anyway, this lady, what apparently everyone's leaving out here is this lady ran for local office in Alaska.
What?
She is a QAnon believer. She is a COVID conspiracy theorist.
Of course.
This is all from two seconds of looking this up. No one has.
Yet her highest qualification
background.
is she's a former gym member. That's what they list on her.
I mean, this is someone.
She's peaked at that.
This is someone who clearly had this all in mind when she accosted this trans woman. This is completely being left out of.
Oh, so this was planned.
This had to. I mean, we can't say that, but this isn't like, oh, little granny who's working out to better herself.
Yeah.
Came across. This is someone who already has a political vendetta, and clearly wants to, get attention to herself. And this was the way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at all the news around it, and really, this has just been covered by conservative outlets. I think news, the New York Post, I should say, or Fox News are the biggest. But I mean, those are also right.
Well, no,
now.
Phil covered it today. Phil talked about it today. Phil talked about specifically this situation.
Well, everyone seems to be leaving this out. Then this is.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right, Bender. But that's important that you brought it up because, like, I know you said that somebody brought it up, but the majority of people who are eating up this interview and stuff, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna just say she's just the old lady that was in the gym and she's been canceled by the gym. But there is a motive here, and just digging into her background and talking about that a little bit more. That was a simple Google search that Bender did, but people won't do that. They just want to hear from this old lady that felt threatened in the gym. So.
I mean, when you hear about somebody, just strip away the context for a moment.
This is a post of hers from just a few years ago. Biden administration is part of the cabal that has been human trafficking and sexually abusing children and using their body parts for harvesting.
Wow, she's in deep.
Yeah, I mean,
hitting all the notes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is
choice of phrase.
So, like, strip away the context and just ask somebody, hey, do you think it's weird for somebody to take a picture of somebody that's minding their own business in a bathroom? Everybody would say yes, but if you're a conservative and you fill it in with, oh, well, she saw a trans person, all of a sudden it's okay. And this lady, she's apoplectic at the thought that, like, oh, they made me lose my membership?
Mm-hmm.
You were taking a picture of somebody. You can't. That's creepy. You can't do that. You're the bathroom predator, Karen.
I don't want to derail the conversation, but I'm very, very impressed of your use of apoplectic right there, Mike.
It was, and it was like it flowed.
Thank you.
It flowed so well.
It did flow.
Baby, come on, wordsmith.
I gotta add that to my vocabulary.
Yeah, it flowed right off your tongue. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. People say really my college degree is useless and it bogged me down with debt, but you know what? I know some words that I use once in a while.
Apoplectic.
Yeah,
bars, Mike. I'll give you bars. On that one.
Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes I say these words. I'm a little bit loquacious.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoa. There's more where that came from.
That's a little too far for me. I'm not sure I get aboard with that one. I don't know.
Panties dropping in the chats right now. Woo!
It's 10:30, so it's over
Yeah.
now.
You already know. It's past 10:30. 10:30.
Bye,
I want
everyone.
to kiki for a few more minutes, but we're at the end of the show.
Yeah.
There we go. Rebecca taking control. There we go.
This was so much fun, guys. Thank you guys for having me on again. I
How's that,
appreciate
Joe?
it.
Always a great time.
You can stay as long as you want for super chats, Zed.
I'm not to stay for super chats.
Yeah,
yeah.
sweet.
I'm staying for 3 and I'm out, so
Yeah,
you'll,
look,
you'll stay
I'm
longer
here.
than I will.
Let us, before everybody starts ducking out, Zed, tell us what you do and where we can find you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my name is Zed. I host a show called Freestyle the News every Sunday. We have a new episode coming out Sunday where I wrap all of the news stories that we've had over the week and do a little bit of a breakdown at the end. So we have a new episode Sunday. I also do a show called Zed Talks. You can find me at that little @ you can see on screen at ZT Music, or you can search Zed Tabani on YouTube. My name is spelled ZAID. And then Tabani. I'm sure you just type in Freestyle the News, you'll find it. And then if you like fighting games in Evo around July, I'm going to be doing all the music for that. So you should check that out. And follow me on TikTok so I can look cool before it gets banned.
I
So
know.
that'd be great, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same on TikTok as your at
It's
here?
the same on TikTok, or you can go on top. I'm everywhere. I'm in your bathroom right. Like if you say my name 3 times, I'll be like, hey, what's up, man?
In the
But
mirror.
like, yeah.
It's
but
true.
if
I've
you-
tried it. It's crazy. I don't know how it works.
It's weird. I've messed with the space-time continuum, but I would go find me on YouTube, find me on Spotify. Come say hi. It'll be a good time.
I'm just realizing we didn't even ask Zed about the Ben Shapiro rap.
I have so much to say. Okay. All right. Okay.
I know it's 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Rebecca's like, fuck you, Mike.
Because I know you like me.
We can
got
save
got
it.
But no, don't save it. I just I gotta check out. So you go ahead, tell your story. Just be a little mindful because you're gonna be here after the show with the boys, and they like to be here till 2 a.m. And I know
I'm not gonna be here till 2 a.m. But I will tell you. First off, I fucking hate it. Like I hate it so much. First off, like everything that he's saying, like isn't like all of the bars are not heavy hitting enough for it to work, right? Like he's so diminutive in his stature, right? He doesn't like the whole point of rap is to express this bravado and this intensity, right? And I understand if it's a troll piece. Yeah, if you're meant to
Right.
troll piece, then like I understand, but like nothing in it signifies it as a troll piece. And I don't know why the fuck Tom McDonald would do that, because the whole point is like, hey, we want to get a number. And the other thing is also him saying that he got a #1 on iTunes. Bitch, I have a #1 on iTunes. Your niece could have a #1 on iTunes. iTunes sales do not take a lot to get a #1.
How much does it take, Zed, to reach #1? Like raw sales? Do you know or have an estimate?
If you get 100, if you ever get 100 iTunes sales, you're #1 on iTunes.
What?
Okay. We
So
can
if
we can have a
clipped what you
#1.
just said right now. Put it to like beats. If we put that up and then said something, then
Let's just
you can add
release
a
our
little-
intro
Okay,
to this
I
song.
will say this. I will say
know.
this. I may be wrong on the exact number, but it's very.
It doesn't
It's
take
not a
much.
lot.
We could do
It's
that.
not a
We could
lot
do that.
because
I don't
iTunes
even
is
know
not
#1.
used as a metric for sale. Like sales on Billboard and stuff like that are also done through SoundScan and through Spotify. So like, look, like when we did the Evo album, we reached #1 in Canada. I think we were #1 in Japan as well. We were #1 in multiple countries. We got about on 10 on iTunes for the US, right? But like we were close to doing a lot of damage. And so like the thing about that though is that was less important than the hundreds of thousands of streams we got on Spotify
Right.
and other platforms, because everybody just uses Spotify and other things like that, right? Having worked at Apple Music, I know what's more important to Apple versus iTunes versus Apple Music. They want people on Apple Music. If you do well on Apple Music, your song is everywhere, right? Ben and like Tom putting out this song, like no one's going to listen to that song every other day of their lives, right? They're not going to come back to that. Secondly, and I don't like Tom McDonald, right? Like I don't like the content of his songs, but I do. There's a thing about rappers, like you respect other rappers who are technically skilled, even if you don't agree with them, right? I will respect the skill of somebody. What I find frustrating about Tom is like, dude, like this undercuts your whole skill. It's like Dave Chappelle bringing on Elon Musk during a comedy set, right? You know, I don't like anything Dave Chappelle has said in the last few of his specials. Like, all right, you're a wordsmith, you're doing all this stuff like that. The second you bring on this dude, it's corny and it undercuts your whole fucking point that you're this like cool guy and you're telling it to everybody. You brought on somebody
I forgot
who
that
is
happened. That
is
was so
essentially the
embarrassing.
establishment. Like
So
also Ben says shit like, and I will keep going back to this. Ben says shit like rap is not music because there's no pitch differentiation between notes that are going on. And he doesn't say it like that because I'm saying it like that because that's the actual thing he's trying to say. But I went to music school and have a fucking degree, so I know what to say, right? But immediately, he doesn't understand, like, everything is pitched. All things are pitched. If you have a drum set, you have to tune it to D in order for the drum to work. So when you are rapping, every single time you rap, you are rapping in pitch. If I put auto-tune on my rap and I put it in a different key, it would sound like dog shit because it's not in key. So like he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is corny. It's not even like even playing in the game, it's corny the way he did it. The bars aren't hard hitting enough. Like when he goes to a punchline, it's just kind of like so played out.
Well, it's kind of hard to make the love of dry pussy hit hard, right? Like it's kind of hard to be a gangster about how much you love dry pussy. Like you're not gonna. I don't know. This is a challenge. You know, everyone can try it, but. Yeah.
I'm going on about it, but like honestly, like one of these days I'll come on, and if you want to throw it on, I'll do like a breakdown of it, and I'll tell you what I think of it. But like I'll go bar by bar and be like, this is why this is a problem. This is what he could have done better. This is what he could have done better. I did a little bit of a breakdown on Freestyle.
I don't think that he was worried about doing it into perfection. I just feel like he just did it because he knew that it will go number one because he has that type of base. There was there was no actual like heart for the the love of music or the love of rap. I just felt
I don't think that either. But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Rebecca.
It's okay.
No. Like I was saying, like I feel like I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to say that he was trying to do it for that. I'm trying to say that like even if you're trying to do it as a joke. There's a version of the joke there where you pull it off, and there's a version of the joke that looks corny, and it just looks corny. Like there's plenty of rappers there's plenty of people who have done raps where like Louis Theroux, my money don't jiggle, it falls. Like that is fun because he understands the joke. But Ben is in the middle of this projecting a little bit of bravado, and coupled with his prior statements, he has to do more to signify that it's a joke in the song for everybody to understand it's a joke. And clearly they didn't, because he had all of these headlines behind him. It wasn't just haters. It was other people being like, yeah, this ain't it. There were Tom McDonald fans going like, this ain't it. That shows you that you kind of fucked up on that front. And because it's number one on Billboard, you ran a campaign.
Well, hold on. The Tom McDonald fans,
on iTunes.
The Tom McDonald fans said this isn't it because they're anti-Semites and they were saying that he collaborated with a Jew. I mean, well, let's be honest. Like, and the idea that like the Tom McDonald is a talented rapper or whatever, that he's better than this. I mean, maybe he has skill or whatever, but he's not better than this. He's not
better than this.
Because the content of his rap is why anyone even knows who he is. Because this was his way to break out of the pack. Because when it comes down to it, he's not good enough to stand on his own as a rapper. He needs to be the conservative rapper, one conservative rapper to make a name for himself and stand out. Because he's just not good enough. He's just not.
Yeah, he's a MAGA Canadian. And not a lot of people know he's Canadian too.
No, you guys are the ones that let us know that he was Canadian last time we were talking about it. But like, who is this guy? Here he is, who is like a MAGA, but his whole look is cultural appropriation. Like he has these braids, gold hats on the face, all of that. The fact that he raps is just, it's given like, no, like, but here we go. That's why he partnered with Ben Shapiro, because he knew it would get numbers. It would help him with his brand and that whole thing. Now, who you can discuss that when you do break it down, I think would be the McDonald guy. Ben Shapiro's whack. But we're at the end of the show. I gotta go. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna read super chats and get up out of here. Thank you so much, Miss Wanda. Love you, mean it. Momi 914. I hope I said that. Mom 914. Hey, back of the curls are curling. Thank you so much. Charlie, yes, it was tea in the cup with a little bit of something.
Nice.
The emo dragon, Becca, you're amazing. Sorry, you were wrong. It's okay. It's life. We were wrong, and we get up and make sure we don't let them people try us again. I stopped watching Nickelodeon when Steve left Blue's Clues and was replaced by lame ass Joe. I felt so betrayed. Joe sucked. Yeah, Jake ass. It got crazy after Blue Clues changed. Jen Kathy, thank you so much. We need to get Bender and Rebecca to interview Elon. It'll be his worst nightmare. Come on, somebody, put us in the room, baby.
You guys would do work.
Help facilitate.
He would never.
Tell me how to help.
He would never.
I'm too poor.
Never
for
doing
that.
another interview again.
He
Never
would
again.
never do it. He takes interviews that he thinks will be softballs. Like he took that BBC guy's interview who completely blew it. Like they knew who they were talking to then, and that he would be unprepared for the
Lemon
questions.
killed it though.
And then he took Don Lemon because I bet he really, I bet he thought Don Lemon would throw him softballs because of the partnership.
Yeah, he did.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's what he was. He got.
He's the Floyd Mayweather of like interviewed people.
Oh
whatever.
Oh yeah. Ariri, appreciate your voice both in the moment, speaking truth to power, and in your retelling of these unjust situations. Free Haiti for sure, and stunning hair. Thank you so much. Mike Thompson, thank you. Not low Z2. Not Lowe's too. Okay, so we're gonna go with Mary Rebecca F. David Smite Lance. Why Smite Lance? Milton, thank you so much, Milton. Adar, thank you, or Ader. See, Adar, I don't know, but whatever it was, I like Adar. Thank you. And the Emo Dragon, glad you linked up with Ben and Bubba. Love your work. Thank you so much. I link up with Ben and Bubba all the time because they're part of the show. If you guys don't already know, on Like It or Not on Saturday mornings. We've been doing it in the afternoons right now because I've been working overtime in the mornings. But Saturday we be on at some time. Just wait for you.
Your show is great, Rebecca. I watch that thing all the time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I have a great time. Thank you so much, Zed. I appreciate that. Oh, more. Okay, my dogs are goth. I know I shouldn't talk about looks, but I love your hair so much. Please let me know what hair products you use if you want. I need a recommendation
the chats were going
for the
off
curls.
about that.
So
I hope you
listen,
realize all the chats at once for just like, oh my God, Rebecca's hair is incredible.
thank you. This is one of my signatures. Look. Throughout the year. I'm going to do it twice a year or once a year. But listen, y'all, ask. I'm not a gatekeeper when it comes to that. Y'all going to see me with a new hairstyle all the time, okay? But this right here is what you call crochet, right? If y'all want to know, just Google. It's crochet. I did it myself. It's up under an hour. Braid your hair down, crochet some looks in, and it's a good hair to keep your hair away, save your hair, protect your hair, protective style for a little bit. So yeah, it's not mine if y'all want to know, but I did purchase it and it's very affordable. Like I use Havana hair, it's just twists. I untwist them and I build this look myself. I cut it down, I shape it to my face, and yeah. So I might do a little tutorial on it. Be on the people TikTok, y'all still got threads? Y'all still using threads?
Dude, Threads is at
150.
Dude, Threads is doing pretty well. It's at 150 million monthly active users right now.
Oh,
so
really?
That's pretty good.
I like Threads because I feel like I'm yelling into the atmosphere. Nobody is there, but it just feels like a good place to be. Like
it's growing. It's growing comparatively. Like X has risen by 8%. Threads has been rising pretty steadily.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I
need to get on there more for sure.
Come back to Threads and find me in Becca's voice on Threads. It's the same thing on Instagram. But I loved it with you guys tonight. As always, I'm happy I got to see your faces. And I'm out of here. David, do your thing because I know you got to go too, baby. But I'm out of here. I love you guys. Mean it. See you guys on Thursday. Bye, Zed.
See you.
Bye. Sorry, I talk so much, guys.
I'll stay for a little bit. See, but that's how you do super chats, guys. You got to roll through them. Bing, 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 bing. Not have these Bender monologues for 20 minutes. No, we got it. Super chat. I don't know who this is.
This one's from me. Joe Greer, $5, $100 super chat next week if you start on time. We probably still won't start on time. I'm so sorry, but
if you give it to me, we will. But
Asa, $2. This one's for me. Sorry. Like how GTA and Rockstar has always been woke. Exactly. Mass Effect was accused of being woke before that was a term that we all used back in 2012.
They had lesbians. Lesbians are in the game. Actual lesbians.
The fact that they had sex in the game was like a huge, like all like you guys are
same
putting
sex
love scenes in
and interspecies sex.
I mean, imagine fast forwarding to the Baldur's Gate 3 character creator and blowing people's minds 10 years ago with that shit.
Wait, I can choose the dickhead I want?
What? Oh, this is for me, I think. What? The one that's on the screen right now.
Bender, quick.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm out of it. I don't know if people noticed. I'm not feeling
You're
too
actually
hot
tired today? Oh, my God.
No, I'm not tired. I'm just not feeling too good. I think I'm coming down with something. But
I've been
you know
having
how
really bad
I power
allergies
through.
this week. Just I feel like
You know how I
shit in
power
general.
through.
If I catch
Foresto-
something from you and David, I'm gonna be so upset.
We'll try to cover our mouths.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. The woke mind virus travels through the microphone.
That's true.
Foresto with the super chat, unrelated to anything, but you guys need to watch the new Rabbi. It was Rabbi Shmuley, right? Versus Cenk on Pierce. Pierce makes Cenk stay while the rabbi does a sex shop infomercial. What?
What they're
I only saw
referring
some
to
clips.
is
I don't watch the whole
essentially Cenk is saying a sentence and it's misinterpreted, and then all of a sudden Rabbi Shmuley says, "Are you saying that Jews rape?" And then he was not talking about that at all. He wasn't even saying those words.
Oh, that
It was
part.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You
Right.
couldn't,
No,
yeah,
that
you
was
couldn't
weird.
hear what he was saying, and then all of a sudden he was like, "You're saying so Jewish people rape," and then he's like, not a single word he said.
I
was
covered that today.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous part of the discussion. I don't know like what he was hearing. It wouldn't even make sense in the context of the sentence. Like
Yeah,
it's
it
just a
doesn't.
really bizarre
It's
moment.
really weird. Yeah.
I saw Kyle's video on that. I was listening to it, and it was insane. This is from Koya Damon for me. Thank you so much. I hope you, David, and Rebecca do watch X-Men 97 so that we can maybe have a discussion segment for TLM. Also, I'm so gay for Gambit. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. So, for sure.
Yeah, me too. I'm
So
watching it.
fucking good.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
Tumbosin with a super chat. North Carolina IRL Uncle Ruckus, no relations. I don't know what you're talking. What is he? What's the context here? I missed it.
I don't know.
He's
Gotta
talking
move on.
about the GOP nominee.
Oh right, I forgot
in-
about that guy. Okay. This is not my place right there.
Yeah, it's not our place to say that. I do have a video about Mark Robinson. Check it out.
I can say he's a crazy conspiracy theorist. But you can say that though, Tunbosin. I'll leave you with the final word there.
We know our lane on this show.
Yes.
Celeste, $10. Thank you. I grew up watching all of these Nickelodeon shows, still do to this day, and watching the docuseries broke my heart. I couldn't stop crying. They were my childhood. Everyone failed those children. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I need to be in the right headspace because I know it's gonna be really gut wrenching. But yeah, it's kind of fucked. It's I don't know what to say about it. It's sad.
Lover of Green, $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, why the F are people still wearing face napkins, masks? Is 2024 and the I don't know what that is. Coof is legally over, but a small subset of Americans refuse to go back. Who cares?
Mind your own business.
Let people.
This is totally a David Doel super chat.
Why do I get this shit? Who are you?
Thanks
I
for
don't
the
care if
money,
someone's
bro.
wearing a mask. I've considered putting the mask back on just because I don't know. I like the idea that no one knows who I am, so I'd rather just put the mask on.
Mortal Kombat guy would like to say, do you play Mortal Kombat? Go, why are they wearing masks to just be fucking out there in these diapers?
And then they take the mask off and it's a skeleton face. You're like, oh, okay. That's
yeah. That makes sense.
Those couple years early on in the pandemic where I wore a mask and everyone else was wearing a mask, I gotta say, I never got sick, never got colds less than I did those.
I was perfectly healthy.
It works.
Same
Yeah,
here.
it works.
I was perfectly healthy until my kid went to daycare, and then it was all over for me.
Yeah, and by the way, the pandemic is still very much a thing. In the last month, I think 10,000 people died in February of 2024. It is still very much a thing. So that's why people are wearing masks still.
Snack Pan theory. This is what I expect from my super chats. Hello, leftists. Free Palestine. That's
there
right.
we go.
Thank you, Snack Panther, for recentering the discussion onto important issues.
Angelin Day. Oh boy, I've been told how to pronounce this name a million times, but I'm gonna go with Bagshagahi with a $10 super. It's for sure, right?
I think it's for sure.
Yeah, I think you remember correctly. But
Just
I
change the
did
spelling of
enjoy.
the name.
I did enjoy saying Bagshagahi with a $10 super chat. The Tulsa District Attorney won't file charges against the minors who assaulted Nex Benedict in a school bathroom the day before he died. They called the altercation an instance of mutual combat.
Wow.
That's insane.
Oh my God.
That whole thing is just
Hold on though, like that's like not even like accurate in terms of like in situations where adults fight and the result is that one took it too far and killed the other. That's like manslaughter. Like that's not
that's not mutual.
That's not like an instance of mutual combat. Jesus Christ.
Every news story you read about it's just more disturbing. Like it.
Mm-hmm. Wanda with a super chat. Larry Hogan is up more than 10 points in the Maryland Senate poll right now. I'm a bit nervous he could flip the seat in Maryland.
In the aggregate Senate poll or just a normal Senate poll? Because like if you're looking at one poll, there are outliers all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
he's well known there, right? He was the governor. Like he's
more of a centrist Democrat too, so he might be trying to
as a governor. Like these people, when they become senators, they unlock this thing in their brain where they just become as crazy as everybody else in the Senate. Like as a governor, he seemed reasonable at times. Just I'm not saying to me, but as a
comparatively speaking, you're right. David. Yeah.
But once they join the Senate, it's over, right? Like the incentives are different. Like it's just he's going to be just as bad as anybody else. So Maryland should watch out there.
Ryan Chen with a super chat. Yeah, you want to read it? This one's for you, but it was in my chat,
I got to read a super chat. Thank you. Well, thank you for giving me a bender. Zed, what are your thoughts on conservatives freaking out over Jax ending in Mortal Kombat 11? Jax going back in time and freeing the slaves.
Wait, this was an issue. This was, first of all, I didn't know that's what he did.
I don't remember it being. I don't remember it being an issue. Mortal Kombat is always very, very. First off, I'm not going to speak for NetherRealm, right? Like I'm just a contractor, but like, Mortal Kombat's always like fast and frivolous, and for them to get upset at that and not like other crazy storylines in like Street Fighter, like, hey, Dhalsim can spit fire because he ate hot curry once. That is canon, by the way.
They ripped Jax's arms off and replaced them with metal arms. I mean,
yeah. Also, Mortal Kombat has always had that streak of being more progressive and stuff like that, And so it's this. First off, if conservatives are mad at Mortal Kombat for being too woke, I think they need to, get their shit together. I
think people are a little bit too sensitive these days.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
Snowflakes.
I think that's my beef. Snowflakes. Is like people interchange woke with sensitive when they are being little bitches. Stop being a little bitch. Mm-hmm. It's Mortal Kombat. Get your head ripped off.
Yeah, the anti-SJWs have become the SJWs they once denounced.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Chan with another super chat. Thank you, Ryan. Florida Democrats canceled the presidential primary, so Republicans flipped lots of local seats thanks to low Dem turnout. Democratic idiocy 101. Yes, I heard about this.
Yeah.
I mean, they just don't.
Florida Democrats, goddamn,
they're the worst.
Literally, that Simpsons episode where we hate ourselves. It's the perfect. What is it exactly like? Yeah, that's
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
That state is so far lost for that party just in general over the last 4 or 5 election cycles. There's no way.
Nationally, yes, but obviously there are still Democratic. There are blue areas for local races.
Yeah,
there are Democratic mayors in Florida. That's the main reason to do this. Like obviously.
Yeah.
they shouldn't be putting Biden-Harris campaign money into winning over Florida as if it's a swing state, because it's just not anymore. But the local elections is where they can win, and they apparently didn't give a shit.
Yep.
A Bay Photo with $4.99. Thank you. Elon says we should not lower standards. Okay, let's talk about Tesla build quality and safety then. Self-driving is looking a little DEI. Got him. Yeah, I mean,
I bought an electric car like last year when I was like, oh, I am stable financially. And when buying an electric car, I didn't buy a fucking Tesla. I bought the Hyundai, the Ioniq 5.
Is it good?
Best car I've ever. Yeah, and like honestly, my friends who have had Teslas have all been selling them. Because let's be very real, like aside from Elon's bullshit, Teslas are really good cars. But the issue is, again, the build quality. Like they will be the car will be able to do. The car will be an incredible car. It'll drive well. It'll be awesome. But 6 to 10 months down the line, all of a sudden, hey, why the fuck is the little like weather sealing in the door flying off? Right?
Yeah.
Why is the handle not working? That happens to cars that are of rushed build quality, and the price keeps going down on them, right? They keep manufacturing more. Like there are so many issues, and even the Cybertruck itself has so many issues, right? So
aside from being ugly as shit,
yeah, I mean like there's the issue I have is like, like I did like Teslas are like, if you're taking all the politics out of it, Teslas are attractive cars, but even they suffer from Elon's kind of narcissism, where it's like, dude, like, just take a little bit more time on these cars to build them out. Like, I know you have a successful company, but now other people are nipping at your heels because of this, right? Honestly, if you're getting an electric car, I'd recommend the Ioniqs. The buying process is more frustrating than Tesla, but I'll be really honest, a year and a half in, best car I've ever owned.
Yeah, and you don't want to be driving around in a Tesla. People look at you and call you the F slur. That's what I do when I see a Tesla.
I believe Teslas also are the only ones that are produced without union labor. I think every other mass producer is,
that's a great point.
Is unionized. So another reason not to buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that you just said, like, it starts falling apart in 6 to 8 months. Like I've in my life, I've driven 30-year-old Dodge Ram vans, 30-year-old Jeep Cherokees. My current car is a Honda Civic that was handed down to me that is now 22 years old. I mean, these are
it's like
these
one
are
of those
cars that run perfectly and have no issue. I mean, obviously they have the usual. You take it to a mechanic every couple of years with a problem that needs to be fixed, but they're not falling apart. The insulation is not falling out. The cars run for a long time.
Yeah.
How much more regulations were still in place when that was manufactured compared to now? That's what one thing.
Well, I don't want to monologue on this, but like the other issue with that is just like, electric cars are computers on wheels. So like essentially anytime, there's so many benefits to it. But the other issues that come with electric cars are specifically Teslas. Elon likes to make big sweeping things just happen. That is his style. That was great when Tesla was starting because objectively it made that company and electric cars come to fruition. The problem with it now is that now they are at fruition, you have to be much slower when implementing large sweeping changes because they can be dangerous, right? Like phantom braking in Teslas was a big deal, right? Like he fucked up the autopilot because he pissed off an engineer. If you have a Tesla and you get an over-the-air update and it breaks everything, that's fucking scary. And it's just because Elon was like, no, we'll make it work. Like, that's not great. I'd rather have a company, and I don't like Hyundai either. Hyundai kind of sucks too, but I'm not worried that Hyundai is going to introduce like a different horn into my car, but it's going to break my wheels. Like, it's weird.
And it's also, they're so dependent on electronics that often break. Yeah. Whereas like other electric cars have like, you can, manually change the temperature in the car, stuff like that.
Yep.
Tesla is like, it's all in the screen. It's like even the door handles, like you can't open, there's like no normal like key and shit. You have to, like, it has to work. The electronics have to work perfectly or you can't even get in the car.
If like, and like everybody I know who's had a Tesla, there are a few people who are like, yeah, this is very convenient, but a lot of them are like, the build quality is kind of annoying. Like it's a problem.
Because they're not a car company; they're a computer company.
Yeah,
they're
it's like Apple.
But
it's like Apple. It's the best. Yeah.
But
low
no, but
quality
Apple makes
Apple makes
quality
high quality
products. Yes,
Tesla's the Xbox
my
360s of the car
Let's
world.
be-
My iMac's like 8 years old. So,
but listen, like a lot of people say that, and you guys were sort of getting to this point, but you didn't quite get there. A lot of people say how, like, Tesla sort of made EVs, put EVs on the map, at least in the U.S. Like, electric vehicles wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for Tesla. I actually think, like, while that is true to a point, obviously, because they are the most popular in terms of, like, brand synonymous with EVs in the U.S. In China, it's completely different. And China is quickly going to eat our lunch on this one. So Tesla is shaking in their boots because the EV companies in China are making Tesla irrelevant outside of the U.S.
Don't they produce like a $9,000 EV car that's like half?
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say.
China's going crazy, and like honestly, Japan is going to get there as well. Very quickly.
But the whole point of electric vehicles is the environmental benefits, the idea that we no longer use fossil fuels, that it reduces the
less fossil fuels,
the climate change, less fuels.
That's not the only. There's other benefits to it. Like the biggest thing for me was like it's not only that, it's also just there's so many other things with ease of use on those vehicles, like the fact that like when you're in traffic with a gas car, you lose mileage braking. When you're in traffic with an electric car, you gain mileage, right? Like you gain because of the way that works.
That's great, because that's just another thing to put to my point. There's all these benefits specifically to the most important feature of electric vehicle, the fact that it's a fucking electric vehicle. Yet Tesla decided to make EVs synonymous with all the other bells and whistles that have nothing to do with being an electric vehicle. The self-driving bullshit, the extra features that make it into a computer on wheels, the 0 to 60 second feature, the dumb other shit, the giant fucking screen in the middle of the thing.
The fart button. It has a fart button. You can make any fart button in the car.
All these unnecessary things.
That's actually really cool. I won't lie.
Yeah.
No, but it brings up the price of the vehicle and doesn't make them accessible to the average person. And the whole idea that we should be replacing all these cars with all the cars that are on the road with electric vehicles eventually, but the fucking biggest EV company in the US decided that we're going to make our EVs extra, like more money than like a low priced car, a gas car is. They fucked it up in the US. Like when China does eat our lunch, Tesla will be the reason. Tesla will have the full blame on this because they decided to price their vehicles at a starting price point that is out of reach for many people who would have bought an electric vehicle otherwise, because Tesla decided to put all this other garbage in it that has nothing to do with being an electric vehicle.
I would say a few things on that, Bender. Like number one, they're actually the lowest priced electric car on the market right now. Like they're clear
in the US.
How
much are they? What's the starting price for a Tesla?
You can get one for about like 25 to 27. That's brand new.
Oh, okay.
And if it's an older model, you can get it for less. You can get it for about 20K if you need
to,
which is very affordable.
Yeah,
right?
that's not as bad as I thought.
The other thing I would also say about Teslas, right, is like the other issue of like I agree with you for the most part, 100%. The bells and whistles and the things that are synonymous. I totally take your point. I will say the reason that the cars are so expensive isn't necessarily because of the bells and whistles. It's because of the battery. The battery that it takes to make an electric car is very, very expensive, and being able to make that battery work efficiently is very, very expensive. Like for example, there are cheaper electric cars you can get, but the charging capability of getting that energy to the battery costs a lot more, right now than it does in any other time. Now, that being said, the prices have been going down as the technology becomes more ubiquitous and less, precious, and people evolve them further and further and further with companies like Sapphire, with companies like Lucid, and other companies getting into the fray like Mazda. But I do think that there is something to be said that, like, yes, while Elon has doubled down on all these other things like the weird yoke on the car and the self-driving bullshit and all of these other OTA things, that's not necessarily building up the price to a point that's not necessarily the reason the price is building up to the point. The reason is the batteries. The batteries are so expensive, and it's what prohibited people from being able to make electric cars on a mass scale for years. What Elon did do, aside from all this other bullshit, was he made the battery an accessible thing. He tried to turn Tesla into a battery company. That worked for some things. It did not work for other things. So yeah, I feel like an asshole, man. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like be a
No, I'm looking it up though. I'm glad you corrected me if I was wrong, but I'm looking it up though, and it says the cheapest Tesla car is the Model 3 base model, which is $40K.
That's untrue. Okay, hold on. If you go to Tesla right now,
didn't they raise their prices recently?
They've lowered their prices, I think, or maybe they raised them. But
maybe
the
they
last
lowered
time
them, but
because I
remember reading they were raising their price by like 10 grand. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, if they're doing that, then yeah, then I'm out of step.
They did.
But like last time I checked,
they did that like 2 years ago, I think. So I'm not sure if it's gone down since then. But I remember reading.
When I was
looking,
looking,
what the hell?
when I was looking for my car, like I was trying to find like what am I gonna buy, and like the Tesla just kept slashing its prices like every other month to the point where like the Model 3 was like a $27,000 car, and I was like, fuck, why did
it also
I,
may be? I know there's like rebates and stuff. California, I think, has like big rebates on electric cars. That may be part of it as well.
I'm seeing $40K. I'm not
on the Tesla site. Did you get real world? Hold on, I can't access the Tesla site right now.
While you guys debate that, I'm
going
to start reading my chats so I can get out of here. This has been these have been the monologues I've been talking about. So I gotta get out of here before I fall asleep on camera. So we'll get back to Emo Dragon, whoever that was for. Thank you, Emo Dragon.
Yeah, that was for me. I have it in my sites here. So
more like Kyle shitting britches.
Shitting his britches.
Very good. I also got Emo Dragon's my next one. Regarding rate check, go anti-woke age like rancid milk. Yes, indeed.
I'm seeing one price that puts it at around $35,000 to $36,000 with an asterisk on it though that says includes estimated gas savings of $3,000 over 3 years. So
but there's also
gas savings prices.
What? How could they
just tack that $3K back the fuck on the car because that's how much you're paying for it. I mean, that's just
this is how much you will save. That's absurd. Oh my god.
Well, my camera's running out of steam because it's overheating and everything like that. But I loved hanging out with you guys. I would love to do it again. Sorry for giving Binder so much shit and interrupting so much, but it was a good time.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you.
Great seeing you.
Good seeing you too, guys.
We got to play Helldivers, by the way.
Please, I would love to do that. That'd be fun.
I will add you. We'll find time.
Yes.
See you.
Democracy.
Take care.
All right. Later.
Peace.
Bye. Peace.
Kaya.
I actually didn't know.
Damon?
I'm sorry. I'm sort of like enamored by this now that they took $3K off the price, estimating gas savings over 3 years.
That is insane.
That is absurd. I wonder if other manufacturers can be doing that, right? That seems too ridiculous.
I feel like that's deceptive marketing. That can't be acceptable.
Also, they include rebates that you might not be eligible for.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, on the website right now, it's the main like the advertisement says Model Y starting at $36,490 after a federal tax credit. Eligible buyers may qualify for a $7,500 federal tax credit. So if you don't qualify, you got to tack on that extra $7,500, which puts it then in the mid-40 range. Though that's not considered
they're not telling you the MSRP
vehicle.
For a reason. They're fucking expensive.
Yeah, that's super
cheap
deceptive.
cars are like what, like low 20s, even less than that, right? Like,
yeah. Anyways, Kaya Damon. I think that's your name. $10 super chat. Thank you. Says, did you pick up any games from the Steam Spring Sale? Still playing Persona 3 Reload. I am as well. Says, love the flow in that game, by the way. But picked up Yakuza Like a Dragon. I got this game came out in February, like 25% off, like a month later. So that's when I grabbed it. I have not opened it yet.
Smart.
And Chained Echoes also played that great game. Zaid also played that great game. And Cassette Beast, that's an indie RPG. I think I played the demo. I forget. I know I've seen it if I haven't played it. But good pickups. I am not the only Steam stuff I buy is for my Steam Deck. I don't have a PC. I use Mac. So I tend to not indulge too much in the Steam sales, but I'll look at them to see if anything for the Steam Deck sticks out.
I have a PC that basically serves right now solely as a Fortnite gaming console.
Is it powerful enough, or is it powerful to play other stuff?
I don't know. I got it during the pandemic. It was on sale. It's an HP gaming computer. I didn't want to deal with building my own. I just bought
I'm over that stuff.
Yeah, right. Like if I had the money, I would get someone. I would hire someone to build me a top of the line, PC. I would love a gaming PC. I did upgrade the RAM myself though. So that I did do.
Wow, impressive. Look at you. I would love a gaming PC. I'm just the issue. This is when I did game on PC. I just hate having to feel like I got to upgrade like every year. I got to buy something else. I got to and then at some point you got to change the CPU, so you got to change the whole computer. It's just like I've had this iMac that I just use for everything since 2017, and it still works fine. And if I had a PC that was as old as 2017, I would have to upgrade a long time ago. So it's just. That's the issue with PC gaming for me. It's just I don't need it when I have consoles.
Wait, when's your Mac
too much. It's an iMac from 2017.
Dude, you gotta splurge for an M1 at least, or an M2.
I know. I want to get on the new processors. I know.
But is the M1 going to be better than the 2017?
To be fair, this is an iMac Pro, so it's like
that's the one I have. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like top of the line in 2017, so that's why it still operates.
But
it's great for video editing.
You'll notice a big difference. The M1 it really was a big upgrade, and I just used the M1 Mac Mini.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking at them. I've been waiting to see if they're going to release like an iMac Pro, like within the M1 processor. But
if they announce something like that, you wait till June because it would be during the WWDC, the developer conference.
Yeah, we will see. Danny Man, whatever happened to Progressive Voice on YouTube? I tweeted at him today. Actually, I told him it's time for a new video. He has not put a new video out for 6 months. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He's living that college life.
Yeah, he's in college. I know that, so he's probably just busy.
We miss Sahil. He needs to get back on YouTube and come on the Leftist Mafia.
Yeah,
debate us,
bring
bro.
him on. Maybe he'll make his return on the show.
That would be awesome.
Jay Cass, David got sick from attending a local Unite the Right rally. Shake my head. Welcome back. I got 2 more here, I think. I know a few more. Oh my God, more came in. Unfriendly Atheist. Where are you? There we go. Can you imagine in 2024 people still asking why I wear a mask? Just like I don't understand why people care. I gotta think that first chat was a joke because I don't. Why would anybody care if someone else is wearing a mask at this point? Who gives a fuck?
I mean, we know there are a lot of people who do care. I don't know.
Still,
you all gotta mind your own business.
Then, but aren't you all over aren't people over it by now? Like, just get the fuck over it.
Right.
No. They still, the right still mocks Taylor Lorenz when she's on camera with a mask. So I mean,
that's true. They're very stupid.
Kowalski, thank you for your super chat. Says David, I think your ideal future is perpetual pandemics. You'll be masked up, wearing a 3500 Apple VR goggles in public, not making eye contact. I've got you figured out. No. Though that said, I wouldn't mind a mask over my face, but over my eyes, that's too far.
Why would David have the
or I should say mouth
Apple Vision Pro if he's still using an old ass Mac? Like you should be saying that he'll be masked up wearing a Virtual Boy or something.
That would be more accurate. Jay Cass, I would get a Donald Trump ad jumping on David's chat. Why do you hate me so much, Jay Cass? What? I thought
Jay Cass usually picks on me.
I thought we had a good rapport. You're just going at me today. Jesus.
He takes turns.
I'm fine with the Donald Trump ads playing on my content because it means that Donald Trump's paying me. So
that's right. True. Oh my God, they're all coming out today. Trump Gabber 2024. You know what?
American flag, Avi, and everything.
That's a possibility. I
feel like $75 to say this dumb shit.
He's gonna try and pull something like that.
people are seeing the name of your YouTube channel and they're getting confused. That's very clear.
Well, that was the whole point. I'm supposed to convince them otherwise, though. It's not working, apparently. Danny, man, this is my last chat. Xbox One S, or did you upgrade to next gen? I typically don't game on my... I actually canceled Game Pass. So I almost don't use my Xbox at all now. I do have an Xbox
David
One
plays
S.
the Dreamcast. That's his most...
I love the Dreamcast.
No, when it comes to gaming, I am the most up to date, just not PC gaming. I typically play on my PS5, but yeah, I don't know. I canceled. This is not a conversation for here, really. It's not that important, but there are a lot of games on PlayStation Plus. Like, they have their own subscription thing, trying to compete with Game Pass. It's cheaper than Game Pass. Not all the games, of course, but a lot of the games on Game Pass are also on the PS5 subscription, which is cheaper. The only difference, of course, is that new releases from, like, Sony doesn't appear on there compared to Microsoft's releases. But in terms of Microsoft, they're not releasing a whole lot right now. So it's, I don't know, I've been surprised by how good PlayStation Plus is. That's why I canceled Game Pass. I'm like, why am I going to pay for both of these subscription services when half of these, or most of these games that I want to play are on here anyways? So there we go. That's Gaming Corner. All right, back to your chats. I think Emo Dragon is where I left off.
All right, yeah, I have it here.
Good night. Have a great night.
Take care, David.
See you next
before
week.
Before we start again, Lance, do you want to read any?
You too.
I have some short ones. I'll stay. I just want to quickly give thanks to Adrian's for the Twitch subscription, Neuroriot for the Twitch subscription, Tigwick as well, and then in the live for YouTube, Manny Spinoza with the $5 dono. Hey, someone, I'm a member now. My only guess is someone gifted it to me. However, the person is awesome. Thank you to the person who gifted a gift sub. Looney Tunes with the $2. Karen Kyle can go play some games with the Tim Tool. Very true. Soul Life, thank you for the 2 gifted subscriptions. Emo Dragon with the message, how dare you wokeify my queer-coded superheroes? I think that's X-Men, so yeah. Goblin Friend, BC, and federal election predictions. Federal election is going to go conservative in Canada. They tried to do a motion of no confidence this week. Didn't happen, but it'll happen very soon. And it'll most likely be a conservative government. Ideally a minority, probably a majority. We'll see. Sucks, but nothing else I can say. JCast with a $5 dono saying, just want to let you know you're always invited to the BBQ. Honestly, that's the number one thing I possibly could have wanted, so I appreciate that. And Perry Fire with a $10 dono, very generous of you, with the message, I have no bad stories about a boss, always been basically self-employed with work and family. I have, however, had to assert my dominance amongst my livestock. Lance, you have the giver of a herd leader energy. I'm glad. I guess I would be a prairie dog then, or something to that effect. Yeah. Back to you, gentlemen.
All righty. Well, we'll pick up with Emo Dragon again. I believe this is for you, Matt.
Emo Dragon says, Elon fought the woke and the woke won. I guess talking about the interview where he tried to attack DEI, or
woke one,
explaining the DEI and the woke one.
Yeah.
Right?
The woke mind virus one.
Yep.
All right.
1-0.
Also for you.
Penelope Diode with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Penelope. The tickets for Rittenhouse are being reserved by the opposition to either show up. Wait, hold on. The tickets for Rittenhouse are being reserved by the opposition to either show up like in the video or take up a seat and not show up. I just reserved the seat for April 16th. Not going. I guess.
Smart.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Or maybe even going and doing what they were doing there is even better. But your choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Still
the
making a
heckling
difference.
type. Right. Tunbosin with a super chat. Matt, that's an insult to Taylor Lorenz. What was it? Oh, because I said that.
Does she look like Chaya? Which I
Chaya,
disagree.
right?
I disavow that comment.
But
I love
no,
Taylor.
I didn't say she looked like. I said she's like Bizarro.
Okay,
Bizarro
I see.
Superman.
Look up.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Bizarro Superman looks like, please Google it so you see. It's like you'll get it once you see it.
Okay.
You're not familiar with Bizarro Superman?
I don't
I am.
know. I don't like Superman, so I haven't. I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
Also for you.
Emo Dragon, rewrite chick, go anti-woke, age like rancid milk.
Literally.
Is this for me too?
Yeah, there's a bunch for you. So
wow, Mr.
This is also for me.
Oh wait, we skipped someone who was a membership chat.
Did we?
Marcus, do you see Marcus?
Oh yeah, I do. Let me go up. Here we go. This one's for you too.
Marcus 10 with a super chat. Great leaders usually are the reluctant ones. Could leftists work together to get Jon Stewart to run? What is everyone's obsession with Jon Stewart running for president? It's not gonna happen.
I think we could, if we're gonna organize, we could do something better than organize for like that, because I think that in the long run, it's gonna come down to like whether he wants to or not. And if you're going to like put an energy into doing something like that, that's not the most productive. But I understand like wanting somebody who could like, I don't know, mobilize people and unite the left to an extent. But I'm not gonna channel that much energy myself.
Yeah.
Okay, we got that one. Now we're back to JCast.
JCast with a super chat. I don't even want to read this one. Why do you gotta? Why do I get the feeling that Chaya is so hateful and ordinary because she has? You could just read it yourself on the screen. No proof, but just got this suspicious feeling. Come on, guys. Come on. We could do a little bit better than this.
I don't think that JCast is off. I get that sense too, and I can't describe why, but I feel like he's right.
I can't even read it. I can't even read that one. Let's.
Okay, I'm trying to catch because there's a bunch of David/Rebecca ones. Here we go.
This for me too. Oh wow.
Yeah, next couple are for you.
Lizzie Bennett with a $10 super chat. I liked your Bizarro comparison, Matt. They're all over the place. Higher right chick, Steve Mnuchin's Bizarro, John Oliver, and there's Mike's evil twin, Matt Walsh. Oh, yeah, you do just in the face a little bit.
I could see
like the general aesthetic. Like you both have the same hairstyle a little bit, the glasses, you both have that really full, really dark beard. But he definitely dyes his. Do you dye yours? I don't think so. Nope. Yours looks like a natural dark
all
color.
natural, baby.
His is like pitch. The worst thing you could do is dye your beard, honestly. I think a dyed beard always looks horrible. You could dye your hair if you want to get rid of grays, but if you dye your beard, I just think it always looks bad because it always dyes
doesn't
too
matter.
dark. It always dyes too dark. It never looks like a natural color. You just end up looking like you painted your face and you look like an idiot.
Yeah, he's like the deep fried version of me. And it creeps
Someone
me out,
in the chat just said, I dye mine and it looks fine. So maybe it's possible to do a good job.
Well,
but
maybe Matt Walsh just
like
does like a shit job. Like he gets a cheap box of Just for Men, doesn't leave it on all the way or leaves it on too long. I don't know. He has no swag. He gets no pee, man.
Kowalski with a super chat. He says Matt was staying awfully quiet with the bad boss convo. What is Majority Report like when the stream ends? And Sam has no libertarian to yell at. I know he gets upset when he sends delicious muffins to his office.
Still.
Right? No. I have no complaints. No complaints. I mean, he
NDA.
NDA.
It makes you sign an NDA. It's very strict. Matt's been sent multiple cease and desists.
It is what it is. No, I can't. I have no complaints. I've been pretty lucky when it comes to bosses.
That's
honestly.
good. Yeah. Nice.
That is good.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm not saying everything's been perfect, but nothing to really complain about.
Okay. JCast with $5. Speaking of Tom McDonald, want a good laugh? Please pull up his 1981 album cover. Tom McDonald exposed music to activate. That's like a whole cover. Let me see.
While you bring that up, Chris, this isn't a super chat, but Chris Okoro Koran in the chat says, Majority Report sack tap. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the problems. The sack tapping was too much from Sam. He would constantly sack tap myself.
I don't know if we can put this album cover on stream.
What? I missed it. What? What?
The Tom
Is this-
McDonald exposed music to activate. It's definitely not the Tom McDonald. It's an old album. Clearly, this looks like it's from the '60s.
I'm confused. I don't know if we can put that on the
I don't know what's
screen.
going on here. Could you put it in the private chat? so I can see
There's
what you're
too
talking
many blonde ass hairs in the cover, so I don't think it'll fly. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's
about?
all
No,
I
drop it
can
into the private
tease.
chat so I could see it.
Yeah, but if you want to find for yourself, if you Google, you'll find it.
Yeah. Okay. Lizzie Bennett with $10. Thank you. Quick question, Mike. Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. FMK, Mark Robinson, Elon Musk, and your evil twin Matt Walsh. Is Mark Robinson,
who's Mark
the
Robinson?
YouTuber who does he's like the science guy. He does the package thief thing where he
No, Mark Robinson is the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. That crazy guy who's running for.
How did I
the
mistake him
nominee.
for the YouTuber? What is that
His
guy?
name-
What's
his-
the YouTuber's name then? Mark Rober,
I'm not
maybe?
used to his name yet either, so. I thought
Yeah.
it.
This is unwinnable, so I'm gonna have to God, but then you sent $10. I feel like I have to answer the question. This is terrible.
You do.
So I'll just start off by saying kill Matt Walsh. That's easy. God damn. I guess fuck Mark Robinson, marry Elon Musk. Oh god, that's painful.
No, that's the way to go. You get your payday out of Musk when you guys.
I would've had the
break
same
up, You
answer,
guys get the
yeah.
divorce. Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Take your alimony or whatever.
There we go. Darnell Henriquez with $1.99.
And I don't know if you saw what Elon Musk tweeted out earlier today, Mike. But he tweeted out. Someone asked Elon, "Do you like the gays though, Elon?" And Elon replied, "My observation is that people are born one way or another. It is not a choice. People should find mutual love and happiness where their heart leads them. I only ask of my gay friends that they have children for the continuance of civilization."
Breed. You must all breed.
Mike, Elon will try to he'll either try to impregnate you or expect you to impregnate him. And you guys will have a little XV equals MC squared on the way to raise together.
Wow.
Until he takes him from you and you never see him again, and you have to hook up with Grimes and take him to family court.
That sounds horrible. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds horrifying.
Yeah. Things nightmares are made of. Wow. Okay.
Also, I don't know if Elon knows this, but there are, some issues with same-sex couples breeding. I don't know.
I mean, we can try, right? We can try, but
It's happened before.
There's 8 billion people on the planet. I think civilization is going to be okay. My concern isn't necessarily declining birth rates. It's whether or not we're going to kill ourselves due to climate change or nuclear war or some dumb shit like that. So we'll be okay if we don't hit the big red button.
It is truly really weird how obsessed he is with.
I don't understand it.
Kids, it's really weird.
You know what it is? I actually
It's
do
a fetish.
understand it. He's rich, so he has to invent things to worry about because his regular life is like so boring and mundane. And when you have all the money in the world, then there's not really anything left to worry about. I mean, sure, there's your day-to-day stuff like that, but like in the bigger sense, what is there to worry about? You never have to worry about rent or the income of any one of your family members. So you invent things to be concerned about. And he chose to die on the hill of like humans are going extinct. And Japan is going to be obsolete because of declining birth rates. Hey, dummy, you want to know how we can help with that issue? Immigration. Okay. So shut the fuck up about declining birth rates. I just don't get it. Okay, Darnell Henriquez missed the X-Men chat, but look up Wolverine 6, number 6, 2003.
I just put it on the screen. It's basically Logan looking at Nightcrawler's cock. That's the cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So they've always been a little bit
Well,
queer-coded.
it's canon that there was a threesome, I think, between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey on the moon. But that's like, yeah, it's implied that there was kind of a like bisexual threesome there. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, any author or writer can add whatever they want, I think, to the canon kind of thing.
Interesting. I did not know. Chris Corcoran, $5. Chaya's face looks like that of a pilot who tried doing a flip and it sagged because of the G's. Damn. Let me see. I'm scrolling down. Okay, here we go. Binder.
Erin Renee with a super chat. Binder, I just started listening to Apes of the State today after you shouted them out on Majority Report. Love them now. Ah, there we go. I'm wearing their shirt. Everyone check out if you like if you're into folk punk or that sounds like a genre you're interested in checking out, check out Apes of the State.
You always have really cool shirts, Matt. And I'm curious, Lance, what is your shirt? It looks colorful, and I'm curious.
Oh, this one is it's an organization in Mexico that adopts dogs, saves dogs.
I love that.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
You buy a T-shirt and then they're basically like every T-shirt basically feeds a dog. So it's like sold. They could have been lying to me, though, and then I just bought a T-shirt. So
it is a cool T-shirt. 0 PE.
Every T-shirt saves a dog, but feeds a dog. But they failed to tell you that every T-shirt buys one meal for Dog the Bounty Hunter, and that's.
I thought you were gonna say is made of dog, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. 0 PE with $4.99. Thank you, Zero. What kind of rabbi runs an online sex shop with his daughter? LOL. That appears debate was off the rails and peak cringe. Yeah, that to me was so weird.
I don't really care about that, honestly.
No,
it is
not
weird.
necessarily.
I don't care about that at all.
It's not the sex shop thing in and of itself, because I don't care. It's that he does it with his daughter. I find that really weird. I mean, maybe it's just because I have I couldn't talk about that with a parent. I feel like that'd be really weird. But he runs a sex shop. It's definitely with his
weird,
daughter.
but I think I do think that's weird. But I think there's so much more from him that can be focused on.
That's true. That's true.
The content.
That also it also I feel like feeds into the white supremacist trope about Jewish people running all the porn sites and they're the reason for sexual deviancy and all that.
That's true. That's a good point.
So
that is what Ye used to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's a
we
great
don't have
point,
to
actually. Don't want to play into
I think
that,
there's so much more that comes from Shmuley that's so disingenuous and hideous. I mean, the Jen clip, I did see that part of it where Jen is talking about
raids. He said the word raid, not rape.
Raid.
He said raid.
Raid.
Yeah, raid.
And he did not say and he does not say the word Jewish at all. He said IDF
not
raids.
IDF
and
raid.
Rabbi Shmuley starts screaming, Are you saying Jews rape? Are you saying Jews rape? And it's like, this guy is off the rails.
Jen was like, I'm going to leave. It
Yeah.
was so fucking
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for you. Next couple are for you, actually.
Jay Cass says Matt needs coke ASAP. Oh, was that? I think that was when I saw that pop up when I started coughing. I don't know what happened, but just as we started the show, I started to feel a little bit like under the weather, and so I sort of sat back a little bit for parts of the conversation, certain topics. So if you noticed, I'm sorry for not being my usual rambunctious, loud self.
Well, that's why we have so many people. So that way, we could fill in.
Is this for me? 0 PE with a super chat. Muskrat literally begged Congress for help with Tesla, saying China's EV BYD is good. Muskrat knows he's a failure. LOL. I mean, they've really, tapped the market here in the U.S. Everyone who wants a Tesla, not everyone, but I would say the majority of people who care for a Tesla has either gotten one or decided they didn't want one. They still sell a lot, but the market's drying up, and they were hoping to find a place in the market in China, and they're not, because China has a number of EV companies who are actually more popular than Tesla. And just wait till some of those cars start making their way over here, as our guest said, for example. Japan is getting in on that, and Americans love Japanese cars. Ton Bosin, I think this is the final super chat.
There's a
at
couple
least for
left
me.
actually.
Ton Bosin with a super chat. Oh yeah, U.S. Department. This is $10 super chat. Thank you, Ton Bosin. Oh yeah, U.S. Department of Justice is suing Apple for being an illegal monopoly. Could be the sue of a generation, but Apple goes out of its way to make sure it's not on paper. Also, UFC lawsuit made me lose hope. Yeah, I saw that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it seems interesting that they're filing this lawsuit now, just as the EU Digital Markets Act was enacted in the EU, which is forcing Apple to not monopolize the industry. Apple's already made big changes in the EU. For example, Fortnite is coming back to the iPhone, but only in the EU because they're forced to allow Epic Games to run Fortnite how they wanted to run Fortnite without giving Apple any in-app purchase revenue in the EU. But they're still not able to launch it in the US because Apple doesn't have to do that in the US. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this.
I think this one is for David Doel, the rational fascist from Tunbosen. And last one from me by Kowalski. Thank you, Kowalski. $10. Really appreciate that. Mike, don't be absurd. Find a lesbian couple between the four of you. Produce 4.7 children because we need them to plant trees to solve climate change. Do you want to end up like the dinosaurs? That's a good point. We could do that. We could. I like the suggestion. I've got one more actually just now from Darnell. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Second one from you. Appreciate that. They were a throuple in connected rooms in the house. They had all of their family. That moon scene is Scott and Logan talking about a beach trip. Oh, interesting. So they were actually polyamorous relationships are canon in X-Men. They are very woke. Oh, and there's another one. From my dogs are goth. $10. Thank you so much. Finding your vids in my inbox early makes my day. I love your content so much. It's definitely worth the membership. That means so much. I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you. I try to get them out as early as I can. But you know, if you get to see them the night before and that makes you happy, I'm glad. Well, that is about it. Is there anything on Twitch?
Let's raid Juniper. Let's do it. We could raid Juniper.
Oh, is Juniper on?
Juniper's on?
Let's raid transgender_marks on the Twitch chat.
Hold on. We gotta wait for me because I need a second here to get it ready. I can't find. Okay, there we go. I think I found. I didn't even know that Juniper had a.
She uses it for like charity streams, but now for like gaming and stuff. And
oh, cool! Yeah, I'm gonna follow her. I didn't know.
Yeah, she's online.
We love
so let's
Juniper.
Do it. Yeah.
Hell yeah! All right, let us know when you're ready, Matt.
Wait, hold on. It took me a second. I'm having some issue. Okay, I found it. All right, I'm gonna hit start raid. Let's all hit start raid if we haven't already.
Done.
I have you.
My 15 viewers are ready.
Wait, but we gotta all. Nice. But we gotta send them all at the same time. Hold on.
All right,
don't raid.
Ready
yet.
when you are. I only have like 15 seconds left.
All right, well, first, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. See you all next week on Leftist Mafia. All right, let's do it.
Bye, friends.
All right.
Love y'all. See you soon.
Take care.